Two Rivers Talks is brought to you by Two Rivers Biz Starts. Also by Two Rivers Main Street. And by Raleigh Point Economic Advising. And by viewers like you. Thank you.
Welcome everybody. This is Two Rivers Talks and it is episode 19 and we're closing in actually almost on a year.
That's so cool.
I know, because today is, what's the date today? August the 16th.
16th? Yeah.
And our
when
very...
we're filming it, not when this is going live.
Right, yeah. Today's date is August 16th. And the date of our initial episode, which was kind of like
episode zero.
Episode
right?
zero. Yeah, that was our, our practice one, you know, where we goofed off a lot, but it turned out okay. Was on October 4th.
October 4th,
yeah.
2018.
Yeah. And it doesn't
amazing.
seem...
We've been doing it that long. It doesn't seem like it's been that long.
No. And I think I might have showed you, I've started a scrapbook.
Yes.
With the pictures of all of our guests and things that we've done.
It's very cool.
And there's a lot of photos in there. We've had a lot of really fabulous guests over the past year. And one thing that I already did start working on, I don't think I told you, was I'm starting to get together some outtakes of like highlights. Not the blooper reel
not
stuff.
Not the blooper reel, but
more like highlights.
Which is coming.
Right, but to do like a year-end wrap-up, kind of like the best of.
Okay.
So I have started working on that.
That'd be nice, yeah. Something to observe the work that's happened. And
yeah.
We've come a long way with this.
We definitely have.
You know, there's still miles to go, but
right.
I think we've continued to have fun doing these.
Oh yeah.
And we hope those of you watching continue to watch and you like what you see.
Right.
Because I don't think we're getting sick of doing them.
No, I enjoy this so much.
Yeah.
And it just gets better and better. And if you are new to Two Rivers Talks,
welcome.
And you haven't seen episodes 0 through 18, what we're about is we want to talk. This is a program for people who were born and raised here and might have moved away and they want to stay in touch with their community and know what's going on. It's for the people who live in the community currently. It is for people thinking about moving to Two Rivers, and just to give them an idea as to what Two Rivers has to offer and just kind of a flavor of our community.
Or for people who are business owners that may be thinking about hey, I want to invest in a new business or I want to start up a new business, right. Whether it's a retail or whether you're a larger employer and you're looking for a great place along the lakeshore to build. Two Rivers is where it's happening.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of activity happening here. We've got a new hotel going up. We've got some new businesses that are popping up all along the main street. We, as Greg Buckley, our city manager, is fond of saying, we're turning our eyes back to the lake.
Right.
And I think that there's a lot of things going on within the past year or so that we've been covering and that have just been happening around the city that are huge sources of energy and a catalyst for change.
It really is. All of a sudden, it's a flurry.
A flurry.
It
yes.
really is, and we couldn't be happier for our community because obviously we love this community.
Yeah.
And we want the quality of life to be just fantastic for people and the opportunities to be there so that everyone who is a resident here can have the best life possible.
And I think we're part of a movement that's taking place across the country, really, where you have sort of very local, small communities. The rise of the small city is happening again.
Right.
And as your friend, the Chicago radio broadcaster has mentioned, you've been on his show a couple of times.
Right.
And maybe some interesting things coming up in the near future.
Tease.
But he was mentioning this the other day, and it really strikes me as true that I think that there's a lot of awareness, or the spotlight is turning back to small cities and smaller communities like Two Rivers as a source of energy and artistic investment, entrepreneurial investment,
right.
And sort of that sense of being in a real place where you can, at some kind of scale, know everybody else in the community. In a deeper way than you can maybe in a big city setting.
Right.
Not knocking a big city. I lived in a big city for 20 years.
Me too.
Loved it.
Yeah.
It's great. But there is something distinctive about living in a smaller community where you know the business owners and you know the people that are kind of the players in town and that,
Right.
that are trying to do things that are positive for the community.
Yeah, we're just the right size.
I think so.
We really, really are.
Yeah.
In today's episode, we are fortunate to have Mr. Rick Carey as a guest, and we'll be discussing the Cobblestone Hotel project
Real
with him.
excited to talk to him about this.
Me
Yes.
too, because I do have some questions, and I know the people in the community would like to have more information, because everyone knows that it's happening, but they don't know the specifics, so this is going to be a fantastic interview. We're also going to be talking with Mr. Kevin Boehm, who's the director of Two Rivers Parks and Rec, and he's going to be talking about the success of the programs through Parks and Rec that were experienced this year so far,
Mhm.
and what some of the plans are for next year, because he's got a lot of fresh ideas. I'm just going to say just one thing: Jaws. Movies on the beach. We will be seeing more movies on the beach, I am sure, because
so
and we'll
worthwhile.
talk to him more about that. But that was so uber successful,
That's great.
more than anybody ever expected, and it was like, yeah, this is a good formula.
Public movies, especially in a venue as great as
Oh,
Show
man.
Beach,
Yeah,
it's just such a no-brainer
Right.
to do, and I'm excited. Like, Kevin's brought new ideas and new things to the city, and I think he's really kind of finding his feet, and doing some cool stuff now. So it'll be good to talk to him and hear what he's got
absolutely.
planned for 2020. For
yes.
us.
I've been wanting him to be on the show for a while, so we finally snagged him, and we're going to have a lot of information on that. And then, of course, we'll be visiting with Mr. Roger Russove, who's the director of Two Rivers Main Street. And
We have with us a special guest on the Two Rivers Main Street show. Who's
who might that be?
just a little furry guest with a surprise twist ending. Anyways, you'll have to just kind of stick with us and watch a little bit of a teaser, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
what it is that the art gallery has we have a new employee.
Yes.
And you and I have a new mascot.
Yes,
So
I guess
anyway, you'll be seeing her here shortly. So Todd, take it away with word of the day.
Yes, the word of the day today. You got me in this one. I hadn't heard this one
Okay.
before, but it makes sense. I understand the root word. The word of the day is fulgurant. 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 Fulgurant, meaning to flash or flashing like lightning.
Right.
So, as an example of using this in a sentence, it would be: to the left of the drawbridge, slowly raised its broken span, the soft edges illumined by fulgurant lights of red and green. Henry Miller, Air-Conditioned Nightmare, 1945. That's a deep cut quote there.
It is.
Pulled for me. Yeah.
Okay.
Fulgurant.
And that one I found specifically because I kind of remember seeing that word when I read that.
Okay.
So I had to go back through Henry Miller until I found it.
Or another sentence would be: when she mentioned Facebook to me, my eyes were fulgurant.
They were flashing like lightning.
Yes.
And shooting sparks.
Yes, exactly.
All right, and what we can do for in the news.
Yeah, we'll kind of switch back and
Okay.
forth. Yeah,
Yes.
that sounds good. Yeah, so because our first up is the 2019 Best of the Lakeshore results.
Right,
These are the two rivers winners.
that's right.
In specific. So, best hotel or motel. This might change next year.
This is going to be
This
interesting.
will be
yes.
interesting. Best hotel or motel for 2019 is the Lighthouse Inn.
Right. Best dry cleaners, Cool City Cleaners.
Of
Congratulations.
course. Best, and of course, congratulations to the Lighthouse.
Oh, absolutely.
Best pet grooming or boarding, Lucky Paws Pet Boutique. Congratulations.
And best sandwich or sub shop, Two Rivers, Fatso's Sub and Pizza
Right
Shop.
on. Congrats, Jesse. That's awesome.
Yes.
Yep. Best Mexican food, Casa Mexico Restaurant. Very cool.
I like that place a lot.
I like their stuff, yes.
That's why I am now on a diet.
Truly?
Yeah. Actually,
It's
well,
just too addictive to go over there. And,
it's addictive to go there. It's addictive to get Luigi's.
I like
And
the Uzis, yeah.
it's real easy. There's enough places around here where,
Yeah.
you know,
My downfall at any Mexican restaurant is if they've got really good guacamole dip.
oh,
Because man, I can just eat that
I
day and
know.
night. Yeah, it's just so good.
So, and best fried chicken, congratulations to Tippy's Bar and Grill, and he has fantastic chicken.
I have not tried it. I'm gonna have to get over there and get some.
Okay, I know what we're doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Best family establishment and best breakfast, Two Rivers Family Restaurant. Congratulations, Mazel Tov.
Mazel tov. we were talking about Fiddler on the Roof earlier,
That's
so
on
we're
my
kind
mind
of
now, right? Yeah.
all right. And l'chaim.
A blessing on your house, right?
Yeah, really. Best burger, hands down, it is Nikki's Good Eats and Treats.
Absolutely, such a good burger. Best hardware store, Klein's Hardware Hank. So it is a very good store. Congratulations, Klein's.
Yes. Best department store is Schrader's department store.
Right on, guys.
Good job, you guys.
Best bicycle shop, our very young friend of the show, Cleveland Cycle Works, Michael Cleveland's company. Yeah.
So congratulations, Mike,
Nice
because
job, Michael.
and he's in a new location now.
That's right.
And he has done a bang up job on what's going on over there. So if you haven't had a chance to see him at his new location behind Unique Flying Objects, get in there.
It's got some really cool stuff.
Oh man.
Best DJ services. I skipped one. Best karaoke. How could I skip that one? Best karaoke, Rock the Mic Karaoke.
Yes.
Very cool.
Best DJ services, Advanced Entertainment DJ Services.
Best children's birthday venue, Port Sandy Bay.
Right. And Best Supper Club and winner of Best Old Fashioned, which I can vouch for, Mahout's Supper Club. So congratulations to all of our winners.
Well
Two
done.
Rivers winners. You guys are knocking it out of the park.
Right on, guys. You guys rock.
Yeah. And we appreciate the hard work and effort that you put into having such successful businesses.
Absolutely.
So, and going on to the next thing in the news, Captured. Maritime Museum exhibit shows story of Great Lakes commercial fishing. Two Rivers' own Susie Q Fish Company is just one of dozens of families that were photographed in their six generations.
Wow.
Which I didn't realize they had been in business that long.
That's a long time.
Of commercial fishermen. Susie Q is a prime example of the innovation taking place in the industry. For more than 150 years, which just blows my mind, the LeClair family has fished Lake Michigan through all of its changes. They witnessed the influx of sea lamprey that wiped out native fish populations like lake trout. And I think a sea lamprey, that's an eel, isn't it? I think it's an eel.
That to me, yes.
That's gross. They harvested alewife, and I think everybody remembers the alewife die-offs and the stench and the...
Yeah, I remember the band, the Dead Alewives. I think
Now
it
you're
was.
pulling my leg again. I'm on to you, Todd.
I don't know what you're talking about.
But anyway, they harvested the alewife after they too invaded the lakes. The company has also worked with Wisconsin Sea Grant, allowing fisheries specialist Dr. Titus Selheimer aboard their vessels to monitor an experimental trawling project. Today, locally caught lake whitefish can be found in the Susie Q market, in their fish market. So go over there and get yourself some fresh fish. You will not regret it.
Well, I really love the roots of innovation, here in Two Rivers.
Oh, yeah.
We talk about this, and we'll talk about this later in the show with Roger, that whole idea of getting innovation into the community mindset. And it's something that's here. It's in the DNA of the people that live in Two Rivers.
Right.
And so encouraging that and celebrating that and the rich history that we have, it's so cool to see examples like this.
Oh, absolutely. One thing I can say about the LeClairs is the fact that when these challenges have come up, they've been very flexible and they've been able to go with it. So they really are very good at bouncing back, or just dealing with odd things that kind of come up. And that's super important for when you have a business. You have to be able to think on your feet. What's the best thing that I can do to keep myself relevant? And so they have been very successful at that.
Speaking of odd things, Sputnik Fest 2019 is coming up on Saturday, September the 7th, noon to 10 p.m. I don't think they mind being called odd. It is kind of.
It's not. They're not. They want to be
It is
odd.
a uniquely odd festival. If you haven't been there, if you're from, if you're not from around here and haven't heard of Sputnik Fest, it's this amazing event. It's located. It's in Manitowoc. It's outside the RAR West Museum. It's really in observance of the fact that on September the 6th, 1962, a 20-pound piece of the Russian Sputnik 4 plopped down in the middle of the street at the intersection of North 8th and Park. And I think there's actually a little marker on the street where this sucker hit the street. And I know I've seen some black and white photos of like police officers around.
Yeah.
It. Really cool. But to commemorate this, it's become almost sort of like a celebrate the weird and alien, like an Area 51 kind of thing.
Right.
It's got a vibe to it.
It does.
You go there, people dress up in cosplay like stormtroopers. You got Elvis impersonators. You've got people running around in go-karts. You got people in tinfoil hats. It's a cool event. There's a lot of interesting stuff that happens at it. So get out and celebrate our own little piece of space history. Space debris, whatever you wish to call it, and one of the top 5 funkiest festivals per Reader's Digest in the country.
Right.
One of the top 5.
And I always wear my finest tinfoil hat.
Oh, nothing but the fine, like
Reynolds
wrap, right? Or no, not Reynolds wrap, the Reynolds foil.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
High quality stuff.
I like to refer to it as my Easter bonnet of hats.
Yes.
So
when it keeps out the death rays from the
every
sideways.
single time. Well, it's important.
It is. Yeah.
But it's real pretty
Keeps
too.
the lizard people from implanting their thoughts in your head. And I hear. Anyways,
I'll let you borrow one of mine.
Thank you.
Now, on a little bit more somber note, and I thought this was worth mentioning. Author Toni Morrison passed away at the age of 88. And if you're not familiar with Toni Morrison, she was the first African American woman to win the Nobel Prize for Literature. Her unique voice endures, however, in novels like Beloved, Song of Solomon, Sula, and The Bluest Eye. And I love her books. Her books gave expression to formerly unspoken truths of Black life in America, past and present. In their 1993 announcement, the Nobel Prize Committee noted that Morrison, in novels characterized by visionary force and poetic import, gives life to an essential aspect of American reality. And that woman knew how to use words to their fullest effect, and just gorgeous, gorgeous writing.
Powerful, wonderful writer.
Yeah.
I did not realize that she was 88.
I know it.
Yeah, it's so kind of hit from left field when I heard that news.
Yeah. So anyway, so we figured we would mention that and just honor her.
Yeah. I'm glad you added that to the program because I think it's good to observe. Making a U-turn in tone here. Apparently now golf carts are legal to drive into rivers. This is a new thing. The City Council just approved the measure earlier this month. And the DOT defines a golf cart as a slow-moving vehicle that cannot go more than 20 miles per hour. They have to be equipped with signals and safety restraints. So you don't go flying out the front of it if you have to stop suddenly. I guess last year the state law was changed to allow local cities and their villages at their discretion to allow or disallow golf carts on their streets. There is one major restriction, however, and that's that they have to stay on roads that have a speed limit of 35 miles per hour or less. So no cruise on Memorial Drive in your golf cart, my friends. So that means that golf cart drivers cannot travel on the drive along the lake or any other place where it's over 35 miles per hour. A placard that indicates that it is a slow-moving vehicle must be displayed, and that vehicle must stay as far to the right in the roadway as possible, so you can get around it, obviously. Owners have to pay an annual $25 fee to legally operate them. That's a no-brainer. Two Rivers currently has 8 registered golf carts on file.
Yeah.
The only thing that strikes me as funny about this, for people that like, this is kind of an old British show. Have you ever watched The Prisoner?
No, and I should be familiar
so really
because that's all I watch.
It was kind of this high concept, spy type show. Basically, it was like this island where they sent spies who wanted to kind of retire, and so they were all sort of in this place called The Village, which was this little town, and everybody kind of got around on golf carts. And
really?
Walking around. So I have this vision in my mind of Two Rivers becoming sort of like the retirement village for spies. I have a rich imagination. I realize.
Yes, you do.
But it just kind of stuck with me, out there. Maybe Jack can find a screen grab of the village.
Okay. Oh, that would be cool
to drop in. But anyways, golf carts. It's going to be fun. We'll have a lot of fun here. Opportunity for new business, maybe. Golf cart servicing.
Yeah.
Somebody on the Two Rivers BizStarts page messaged me privately and said, "Hey, it would be really neat to turn maybe the old gas station down the road into a golf cart service station."
Oh, really?
You come in, get cleaned off.
In the summertime, kind of like a taxi service type thing.
Absolutely. For seniors around town, you want to get your groceries.
Yeah.
You get a little shuttle, kind of go do that. Get a little fresh air.
Do you have any capital?
Maybe. I might be able to put some money behind something like that.
Yeah. Okay, I don't know. Now I'm starting to get some ideas. Department of Health Services is reporting a decline in opioid deaths.
That's great.
Opioid deaths are at their lowest level since 2015. An estimated 1 in 6 Wisconsin adults were prescribed and used an opioid in the past year, with the top reasons being pain related to surgeries and back pain. The number of opioid-related deaths in Wisconsin in 2018 was 838, which is still way higher than we should be tolerating, according to data reported as of June 30th. However, this is a 10% decrease from 2017, and we wanted to bring that up because that is such good news that this problem is starting to be combated effectively.
That's great. Yeah. Glad to hear it.
And city info?
Yeah, so a lot of things going on in the city as usual. The Two Rivers City Council will be meeting on Monday, September the 2nd at 6 p.m. Same bad time, same bad channel. Council Chambers, 3rd floor City Hall. The agenda will be posted online, and as per usual, it will be streamed live on Facebook.
That's right.
At the time of the event. Then we've also got an update for you as far as telling our story. Our meaning the City of Two Rivers.
Right.
The community branding project is underway. As we've been reporting, a team from Civic Brand, which is an agency that specializes in destination marketing, they're based out of Richardson, Texas. They were selected among a number of firms that we reviewed to assist Two Rivers community branding project, which they made their initial visit between July 17th and the 20th of this past month. And the team, they met with City Council, the city's branding and marketing committee, representatives of Main Street, TRBA, Rotary, other stakeholders across the city, and they experienced Two Rivers firsthand. So they visited places like Nilson Beach, Rogers Street Fishing Village, the Hamilton Wood Type and Printing Museum, Woodland Dunes. They took time to be interviewed by us for Two Rivers Talks, so we'll be featuring them, of course.
Right.
And one of the reasons that we liked them and we selected them is because they took a lot of video to capture information about the living and working in Two Rivers, and then they're being very transparent about the whole process. And so you can find out the latest about them at branding2rivers.com. Their latest blog post is up about the visit, and you can see a little bit of a video teaser about what was happening there. So go out and check it out. You can sign up on the website for updates, so that every time there's new information about the branding process and what's involved with that, because it's not just a logo and a tagline.
Right.
It's about really connecting with the community and understanding what it is that we have to offer that's unique, and how we can be a greater attractor for business and for visitors,
Right.
and for new residents, in the city. So you want to be signed up for this. If you care about the city, if you care about living here, this is something you should be a part of.
Absolutely. And cut.
Let's pause.
You want to tell Kevin he can come on in and just have a seat? Because we're almost done.
Hey, come on in.
We're just about done.
We're just finishing our segment here.
I was just walking around. I was fine.
Oh, okay.
It's okay.
Oh, you could just have a,
We'll put you in the green room over there.
or you could have the big comfy chair. Because
All right.
we're actually going to end up,
Are we gonna
with
move
you.
over there?
yeah,
Oh, okay, cool.
Is that the guest chair?
yeah.
Comfy
Pull it
desk.
out from the wall first, if you would, because I kind of slammed it up there a little bit.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. And we're just about done with our segment.
Christ.
You all right?
It's gonna take all three of you to get me out.
I forgot to warn you, but it's super comfortable.
All right, are we still running?
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
here we go again, okay.
All right. And Todd, new community development director / city planner recruitment. Just an update on that. 3 finalist candidates from a field of 30 applicants were interviewed this week. So they're at that part of the process.
Yeah.
So everybody just stay tuned and we'll see what comes out of the selection process.
It's gonna be a big role, I think.
It's gonna be huge.
Yeah.
So, and you can take the next one.
Oh, thank you. So this is really cool. The Lieutenant Governor visited Two Rivers on July the 24th to celebrate Wisconsin Main Street Day and unveil the design for the new Cobblestone Hotel. Wisconsin's Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes joined with Rick Carey, who's going to be a guest on the show today,
That's right.
of Two Rivers Hotel Group, LLC, to unveil the design for the new hotel. So excited about this. The turnout for that unveiling was I think the biggest in our history that we've had, and I think Roger shared with me that it was the biggest turnout for a Main Street Day event in the state. You know, as far as people that showed up to
really?
see what
Because
was
there
going
was a
on.
lot.
There's a lot of public excitement and interest about this. So
Yeah.
we're going to hear more about the event during our interview with Mr. Carey a little bit
That's
later. But I think we got one more announcement about the kites of the Lake Michigan. Yeah.
Right, and just a reminder, it's gonna be on Neshota Beach, August the 31st through September 1st. So that's coming up really fast, and I'm really excited about,
Me too.
I gotta get string for my kite.
I haven't flown a kite at it before.
You need to get a kite. A
Maybe
couple
we
of years
can we do
ago,
like a Two Rivers Talks kite? Can I get the picture on there? Get our faces up on
I don't see why not.
the. I wonder how you could do that. Do a person. We'll have to talk to Chow.
Vistaprint.
We'll
No,
talk to Chow.
we'll
about
talk.
it.
Yeah,
I
I'm
bet
sure
he's
you
got
can
a way
get
to do it.
custom made.
Yeah.
All right, you're gonna help me pony up for that, by the way.
All right. You betcha I will.
Okay, and you get to talk about Two Rivers Biz Starts because you know what's happening.
Yeah, so very quickly, we're switching up the program a little bit in the month of August. So Wednesday, August the 28th, instead of an evening event, we're going to do a noon business networking lunch. So it's going to be downstairs of Kurtz's Pub.
Cool.
Come there with your business cards. I'm going to be giving, I promise, a fairly brief overview of resources that are freely available to any small business or entrepreneur in the community through BizStarts, through our program. But it's really going to be a chance to talk about sort of what's the next level of growth for your business.
Right.
What kind of challenges are you facing here in Two Rivers as a business owner? How can we help each other? What are some resources that are available? And just get to know each other a little bit better.
Right.
So again, just an open social event. Obviously, Kurtz has fantastic food. So we'll have a nice time. It'll just be casual. Noon till about 1:30.
Okay.
We'll probably run it.
I have to compliment you on what you've done with Two Rivers Biz Starts. And you've been doing this for approximately a year
It's been
now.
about a year, yeah.
And you're talking about the resources. You have gotten together such a nice library, if, for lack of a better term, of resources available to people. And I hope that people who are thinking about starting their own businesses will take advantage of it because a lot of work and effort has been put into it. It's good stuff, and just use it.
Yeah.
But
And you and Jack
you've
have
done a
been
great job.
But you and Jack have been instrumental in trying to get some of that footage,
Yeah.
put together and up. And so we now have a BizStarts YouTube channel,
Yes.
which I'll be posting up on tworiversbizstarts.com, as well as our Facebook page. So please join out there.
Right. And now Leicester Public Library, adult events, upcoming events, chess club, book to art, beach book club, and poetry open mic.
Excellent. I don't think we have anything for teen programs,
No.
upcoming events, but youth programs. Some upcoming events include Lego Challenger and Baby Garden.
Right. And Two Rivers Senior Center, some upcoming events, Summer Minute to Win It. I'm not sure what that is. I couldn't find really any information.
Minutes to win.
Go to their website and you could see what you can find out, or call over to the senior center and find out what minute to win it is, or summer minute to win it. Also coming up is senior center open house, mahjong, and Zumba Gold.
Pants optional. No, I'm just kidding. No.
Gold pants
Okay.
option.
Gold pants optional, right?
Yowza.
Sorry. Hello. Good night, everybody. So Two Rivers Parks and Rec also has some upcoming events. The last concert of the year is Bands on the Beach. summer music series.
Yeah.
Unity the band, it's a reggae band. That's going to be
I know.
awesome. That's going to be on Sunday, September the 8th from 4 until 7 p.m. And then also the open gym for Two Rivers students is
Right.
coming up as well. And finally, last but not least, the Pound Fitness class.
Right. And so that's it for our portion. Up next is going to be Mr. Roger Russove with, we've decided to call it the Main Street Minutes. We have pluralized it now.
Because there's more than 1 minute.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it's more than 1 minute long, but Main Street half hour just sounds stupid.
Yeah, that's
It's
true.
not as catchy.
Yeah.
So we will be right back.
Hello, everybody. We are back for that segment of the show known as the Two Rivers Main Street Minute with Mr. Roger Russove, director of Two Rivers Main Street. Welcome back, Roger.
Thanks. Thanks for having me again. It's always a pleasure.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you here. Darla and I and our new mascot, Smidge, are very excited to have you back on the show.
Smidge looks very enthusiastic about me being here. Yes.
She
Yes.
really likes the rawhide bone.
Well, that's good. That's good.
So tell us a little bit about what's going on. I think there's some things about the board you wanted to mention today.
Yes, we at our most recent board meeting, we did have somebody step down from a board of directors position due to a job change.
Okay.
And as our bylaws dictate, when that happens in midterm, the board elects the replacement board member.
Okay.
And we had two wonderful candidates, frankly, and I thrilled that they were both interested. Emily Ristikin was one from Screaming Conuts, and of course, she had been on the board as a high school representative.
That's right.
A couple years ago, and left the board at the end of her term in high school in May. And the other one was Gina Cron, who she and her husband Barry, of course, own Sepia Chapel here in town. And Gina's been an ally for Main Street in other ways. She served on our community engagement committee and has worked on some other things with us. And as a vote as close as it could be with an odd number of people, Gina Cron is our newest board member of Rivers Main Street.
Congratulations to Gina.
Absolutely. And that was a nail biter.
It was.
He was reading the names out as he unfolded the papers. One vote for Gina, and the next one vote for Emily. He went back and forth. It
Oh,
wasn't
yeah.
like Gina, Emily, Gina. It was Gina, Emily. It was like watching a tennis match. And it was like, and then we were down to that very last one, and which was the deciding vote,
Yeah.
pretty much. And it was like, so that was crazy. It was
Very
just
nice.
crazy the way it worked out.
It was, and like I said, it's great that we have terrific people that are interested in getting involved with the organization. And Gina brings a lot of experience from her past, with their facility in Green Bay and the kind of things she's dealt with there. And I think, like I said, she's going to be a real asset to the board. And of course, we do have two board positions that will be open at our annual dinner in October, which is voted on by the property owners and business owners within the business improvement district that helps fund Main Street. And Emily has already told me that she will keep her name on the ballot for that. We have a couple whose names I'm not going to mention yet, but we have a couple other potential candidates. Lee Hansen will be done with his first 3-year term, so his term is up for re-election at that point.
I didn't realize he'd been on there for that long.
He didn't either.
Wow.
Time flies when you're having fun, I
Yeah.
guess.
I can see him laughing about
I'll
that.
be Okay.
Yeah. So we have the potential of adding. We will add another new person then, because the person that's leaving, Rusty Wallace, he's served his 3-year term, so he comes off the board at that point. And if Lee stays on and Emily gets the other position, that would be great. We have other candidates that are interested, and we'll see what happens at the time.
Yeah.
Very good.
There's so much interest from people to be on this board, which is really nice, because there's so many times you have committees and boards of directors for different things in the city, and it's hard to find candidates. You've got a plethora of people that are highly qualified, highly motivated, and so enthusiastic and so willing to help. I mean, you've got too many people. That's a good problem to have, but still, it really is. Can't we just add like extra seats? We can get a papal dispensation, and then you can have more people.
Well, all we need to do
Wait,
is
you report to the
do
Pope? Wait, never mind. Okay.
Yeah. He knows everybody.
I knew this. I knew he knew everybody, but yeah.
But I'm not Catholic. So. We can change the bylaws to add board positions, but you don't want it to get too big either.
Right.
Then if a couple of too many people are on vacation, you end up without a quorum. But there's plenty of other opportunities for people to get involved.
Sure.
And as I mentioned, the Community Engagement Committee, which was a committee we formed about a year and a half ago, as we restructured some of our operating committees, and Gina serves on that committee, and that's a way for somebody to get involved. And we have our Business Growth Committee that Darla, you
Right.
chair right now.
I always forget I do it. I know. I always forget.
Because I'm on that committee, but I'm never sure who chairs it. Okay, right. Anyways.
and then we have a promotions committee that is chaired by Jesse Crow from Faxos, and there's a couple of projects that they're working on with regards to creating some new twists to our trick or treating downtown, as well as a second. If we want to call it Shop Local or Small Business Week promotion happening before Christmas. So they're working on a couple things like that.
Because you only have one right now.
We do the Small Business Saturday thing,
Yeah.
which is the official American Express promoted, shop small thing, but the day after Black Friday, of course.
Okay.
But what we talked about doing was a week-long shop local program, and without getting into too many of the details, it will involve inviting people to make 3 purchases of a certain level at 3 different Main Street businesses, and if they do that, they will be eligible to win a prize that will be given away of Cool City Cash. And for those who aren't aware of that program, because that was brand new last year, of course, Cool City Cash is a way to give somebody a gift or buy something for somebody that guarantees that the money that is spent in downtown Two Rivers. We have about 32 businesses right now, and more being added on a semi-regular basis. We sell the certificates in increments of $5 and $25, and they're sold right now just at the Main Street office in City Hall. But you basically buy these certificates. There's no extra charges or anything involved. Give them to who you want to give them to, or use them yourself, and people just bring them into the participating businesses, like Darla is one of here, and they spend just like cash. Then the business owner contacts the Main Street office, and we reimburse them for it. And again, it's just a way to keep money here in Two Rivers.
Right.
And one of the things we're going to do, we were a little late on this last year, but one of the things that we're going to do out of the office this year, we're going to send a mailer about it to all of the companies in Two Rivers. So maybe, as an example, a Metalware or a Caranet or businesses like that decide to use them as Christmas gifts for their employees or something to keep money here in Two Rivers. Yeah, and I would love to grow that program, because all it does is help the businesses downtown. So we have taken, when Main Street does contests like the Small Business Saturday thing, this other Shop Local event we're going to do in December, and even the Halloween thing, because we're going to add a food drive aspect to our downtown trick or treating.
Nice idea.
That's cool.
Well, we're gonna have some things going on in the park while trick or treating is going on. People will be encouraged to bring a non-perishable food item up to the band shelf. And trick or treating ends at 2:00, and about 2:30 that day we're going to draw. Every person who brings in a non-perishable food item will get a raffle ticket for each item they bring in, and then at 2:30 we'll draw the raffle tickets. And we have $250 in Cool City Cash prizes for that. That were sponsored by Kurt Andrews, who of course is on the city council, a board member, and owns 6 Sport Clips franchises in Green Bay. So he sponsored $250 worth of prizes for that.
Very nice.
Shoreline Credit Union sponsors $500 worth of Cool City Cash prizes for Small Business Saturday, and I am in the process of looking for a sponsor for the other Shop Local week that we're going to do. That'll end, I believe, the 22nd of December, so that week kind of leading up to Christmas.
We could probably talk.
Okay.
Yeah, because I love to sponsor events, and the one for Art in Central Park, that one I was title sponsor for.
Yep.
And And in the other ones that I would typically sponsor, I really didn't, because that one was a biggie for me.
Well, it's a natural
But-
fit, yeah.
Yeah, but, no, for something like this, especially a
Okay.
kickoff type thing, I
Okay.
think I could probably be helpful.
All right.
Because it sounds like a fantastic idea to me. It
I-
really does.
And again, you know, it's ultimately, you know, Main Street on a national basis. You know, the primary goal of Main Street is the restoration and preservation of historic buildings in downtown business districts, which I'm sure everybody has heard me say countless times before. But the thought process behind that is that if the businesses are more successful, they're more apt to invest money in their physical plants per se. And so ultimately, if we can make you and Schrader's and you know, the game dealer, and if we can make the businesses more successful, they will be more willing and more financially able to invest into their buildings.
Right,
Sure.
I think that's fantastic.
Well, very good stuff. Very good updates. I was wondering if we could talk a little bit about show of hands.
Oh, I'd love to talk
Yeah.
about show of hands. And we talked about that in the last episode. Or was it 2 episodes ago?
I don't remember.
I
But
get all confused
we
too.
did talk about it briefly before.
Yes.
Right. So this was something that you went to the Main Street National Conference, and you heard about this in, was it West Virginia? Was doing something like this program.
Yes.
And
Yes.
for those of you who hadn't tuned into the last episode, and shame on you if you didn't.
Tell him, Todd, tell him.
Shame. The idea is that it's a community event, and you come in and you pay an admission fee, like $5,
Yes.
and you get to hear 4 finalists, something like that,
correct.
who've submitted their. It could be a business idea, or it could be like a community improvement idea. It could be just something that sort of improves life in the city. And they get up, they do their pitch, and then it's kind of a show of hands vote to say, for the name of it, right? That they should get the money prize for getting the most votes.
Very well put.
Thank you.
You must have listened to it.
I once or twice
He's
I
been
listened to
listening.
it. So I thought I'd alleviate you from having to explain it yet again. So hopefully I got it right.
And you did. It's by the time this episode airs, we will have an application form, a fillable form on our website that somebody can go on, fill it out, and press submit. Sometime in early October, we will close submissions for applications,
Okay.
and we will be looking for a panel of probably 5 people to score those applications and choose 4 finalists.
And you're gonna have criteria that
Yes,
we
yeah.
would go off, okay.
Yeah, there's a very specific set of criteria and
Okay.
a point scoring system
Okay.
that'll be used for that. So, and obviously everybody's interpretation of what those things mean and where somebody should score on one of those is different. But we do have some very specific ideas about what types of things we're looking for. And like you said, Todd, it could be a new business idea. It could be a community improvement idea, like 3 moms that want to put new playground stuff in a park
Right.
by their house. It could be an idea for a business extension. A business is looking to add something to their business. It could be a nonprofit that has a project that they're working on that they're looking, that they need additional funding for or something like that. And once the 4 finalists are selected, we'll promote who those people are and what the projects are. And the public will be invited to an event that will be on Thursday, November 14th,
Okay.
which is during Wisconsin Startup Week. So there's a good tie-in with that at Sepia Chapel. And what people will do is your admission to the event is $5. For $5, you get a ballot. You'll get to sit through these 4 pictures and hear these people. They'll each have 4 minutes to share their idea with the audience. There will be 4 minutes for questions after that. And then when all of the presentations are done, you take your ballot and you write number 1, 2, 3, or 4 on it, and that's how you vote for your favorite.
Okay.
It's an opportunity for the community to become part of the funding process for a small project, for a small business startup, something like that. And not only become part of the funding process by contributing your $5, but also by deciding where the money goes.
What I love about it is, it's community-driven innovation, right?
Yes.
And I think it's very appropriate. You mentioned it's part of Wisconsin Startup Week, and we just talked about that this morning when we had a little coffee meeting because we want to get this off the ground. That Wisconsin Startup Week it goes on obviously across the state of Wisconsin, but various cities across the state decide to do events related to innovation and entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm.
And so this show of hands event is a very nice match with how that goes. So, again, not necessarily having to do with the business, but it could be something for the community. And I think we're going to talk about it in terms of being sort of a community catalyzer, a community innovation driver, to help people who, let's face it, around here, there's no shortage of opinions about good stuff we should do.
Right.
But I think it's a great idea to have people come in and actually vote for specific ideas
Right.
and plans, and to vote for, may the best one win. And so I think I'm really excited about it, and I think it's a nice fit. And hopefully we can get some community businesses that want to step up and do some sponsorship for it as well, to make that prize even more attractive for the community. So.
Yeah. And I've been working on that. I've got a few lined up until they're finalized. I'm not going to mention names, of course, but I have been talking to some businesses, and we'll continue to talk more, because I think that the potential exists for this to be something. It's unique in this area, but B, also something that can help connect that person with a business idea.
Mm-hmm.
And potentially that person who attends the event has never really thought about investing
Mm-hmm.
on a local basis, but we may get that guy that decides to pay us $5 and come in, and he listens to the 4 pitches, and he, one of them kind of strikes a chord with him, and it may be the one that won, it may be another one, but hopefully he'll walk up to that presenter after the event and
Right.
say, hey, I'm really interested in this, let's talk some more.
Right.
And maybe it'll help fuel more of these ideas and get different things that aren't ideas coming from Main Street or coming from City Hall or something like that. They're ideas that are coming from the people that live and work in the community.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of good ideas out there. I have no doubt in my mind. And as you mentioned, you can see a lot of them if you spend a few minutes on Facebook once in a while.
Just a few.
One or two. Yeah.
Yes, but let's get the good ones and let's help move them forward.
Right.
Yeah.
What I like about this, it's more grassroots.
Exactly.
It really
Yeah.
is, because I've been to Generator, and I've been in an audience where the people around me have been major investors,
Mhm.
and they are there, and like you said, they're looking for the next big thing.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not just, I've got this idea and I'm going to present it, and yay, I want some cash, even though for Generator and for Connector, it's substantial,
Yep.
with this. But the thing is with this is that, let's say that you have somebody who's got a really good idea and they're one of the finalists. Guess what? Their entire family's showing up, and all of their friends and their support. So I
Yep.
mean,
Mm-hmm.
the purse can really grow pretty
Yes.
well.
Mhm.
But there are going to be people in there that aren't there for specifically one of the finalists, but they want to hear all the pitches, and they
Yep.
want to see where maybe they want to put a chunk.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, I think what's interesting to me is that events like this that are based on more of a crowdsourcing model and micro donations
Mhm.
have a lot of strength in them. You look at the way that political campaigns are being run right now. They're working on the same concept. Give me $5, don't give me $5,000.
Yep.
But the fact that there are other investors there that are looking for ways to participate in that because they see sort of the wisdom of the crowd, idea, which is kind of a buzzword marketing thing, which I don't love. But that sense that, hey, if you get a bunch of people in a room and they're hearing a pitch and it's a good pitch,
Right.
that gets invested in, maybe as an investor, I may want to throw a little bit of additional money behind something like that to
So it's
support
for
it.
everybody
It is.
on every level. So I
Yeah.
think that's now. What is the cutoff age for youth?
We currently have an attorney that's looking over the paperwork involved with this, because there is a statement of commitment that if the winner has to spend the money within a certain amount of time, they're
Right.
expected to give updates to the organization.
Mhm.
In this particular case, the investment has to be made in Two Rivers. I mean, this isn't where you can get the money and go do something in Appleton. I mean, this is
It's all
a
about
Two
us.
Rivers.
I can't dash down the
focused
road
event.
from Green Bay and like go back and spend my money in Green Bay.
Right.
This has got to be
Right.
done in Two Rivers.
Now, I know that in West Virginia, they do not have an age cutoff. And I don't know if I shared this story on the air last time, but the coolest story that I heard about this, that I think I've told you before, was about an 8th grade boy who his family had gotten a dog, and for whatever reason, when they bought treats at their local pet stores for their dog, he couldn't eat them. It would make him sick.
Yeah.
So he started experimenting with making dog treats at home. Okay, and he found some that his dog really liked that didn't make him sick anymore. And he made the decision when he was in 8th grade, hey, I want to start a business doing this.
Yeah.
So he came to Show of Hands, and he was looking for money to buy a second oven and buy packaging materials and equipment and buy a tent and tables so he could start selling at their local farmers market. Now, and again, people vote on things like this for very different reasons. I'm sure having an 8th grade boy get up in front of the crowd was
Grandma and Grandpa were there.
Yes.
Yeah.
He won. Okay, and about 2.5 years after that, as he continued to evolve in this process, he has a half a dozen stores in the Wheeling, West Virginia area selling his dog treats in their stores. So he through this program potentially found his future.
Yeah. I love the way you put that. Found his future. It's amazing, right?
That could be a good tagline.
Actually, I like that.
That's really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, but you figure 8th grade, that's middle school.
Yeah,
And
he would have been 13 years old.
maybe.
Yeah.
14,
Such a great story.
Oh yeah. Oh,
We're gonna have stories like that here. I feel good that we will.
I think we are too, and I think that there's a lot of great ideas out there, and I think people are looking for the opportunity to share them with somebody. And and Todd, you're a lot more into entrepreneurship than I am, but I think one of the challenges in that area is matching someone with capital to invest with someone who has a project that the investor has some sort of passion or some sort of feeling about.
Yeah.
I mean, it's easy for an investor to write a check for something because he thinks he's going to make a boatload of money. It's something else for an investor to hear about a project or an idea and say, this would really be good for the community that I live in. I want to contribute to this, and I think that's what this creates.
I think you're absolutely right. I mean, that the best matchup is going to occur when there is an emotional or some kind of moral or other connection between that investor and the person that has the idea and they want to do it. There's something where they hear that pitch and they say, that's exactly the sort of thing we need, right? And then they believe it and they get behind you. And that's such an important thing for the entrepreneur to hear as well, to say like, oh, this resonated with somebody. Because I think as entrepreneurs, you get used to hearing, no, we're not ready to invest in that right now. Or that's not quite, or I'm going to quibble with your idea. Or what if it was this completely different idea?
Right.
Like, no, I'm doing this, right? So finding that connection point. I mean, that's the holy grail, for entrepreneurship. And so I'm excited if we have the opportunity to make even one thing like that happen. With the first event, that would be an amazing story.
Yes, and I agree. Our intent, so everyone knows, is to do 2 of these a year. To do one in November, and I'm sure I would love to always build it around the Wisconsin Startup Week because I think it's a natural fit. Even though this is not strictly a business competition, right? Which I'll continue to reiterate as we talk about it in the
We will
future.
keep making that point. Yes.
Yes, and then do one in probably April or so. About 6 months apart, and before we get into the vacation thing and stuff, I'm looking forward to doing a couple of them a year and watching the event grow along with hopefully the community grow as a result of it.
Sounds really great. Wonderful. Well, Roger, anything else you wanted to share before we sign off today?
I would like to real quickly.
Yeah.
My minute's gotten a little long again, but
we should call it the long minute.
well, we could simply call it the Main Street Minutes.
Minutes.
Make it
Oh,
short
okay, we'll
because
just
it's always
pluralize
longer
it.
than one.
That's true.
Okay.
On Tuesday, October 22nd, Two Rivers Main Street will be holding our annual dinner. And this is something that has been done every year since the program started. Our first one would have been in 1997, because the program started in late '96. And this has always been a I guess for lack of a better term, I'll call it a closed event. We invite the business owners and property owners within the bid district, and they're the ones who attend the event. We have made a couple of modifications to it at one time or another, where we used to do a shared dinner with the Two Rivers Business Association, but it got hard to manage some of the aspects of the two organizations doing it together. We have modified our bylaws to allow anybody who volunteers 20 hours in the course of a year for the program to come in, and also to vote for future board members and to run for the board. We're going to do something a little different this year. The event's going to be open to the public. So anybody in Two Rivers that would like to buy a ticket and come, tickets will probably go on sale, I'm going to say early in September. Done with the bone.
She's done with the bone.
No, she's busy biting me.
Away with it.
I got nailed.
Oh, you're bleeding.
Oh.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Blood? Oh, that probably tastes better.
Are we gonna have to put like a PG-13 rating on our video now? The bloody hand.
I think probably our viewers probably saw me at one point go like this. So
I think we got the episode title. It's going to be called First Blood.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh my
She's
god.
got a taste for blood now.
Oh no. She was such a sweet girl too.
Sorry, Roger.
That's right.
It's the old show business thing. Never work with kids or animals.
Yes,
right?
Yeah.
yes.
And the show must go on. I coagulate quickly too, so
You go pale and fall over. I'll just keep going, darling.
Yeah, okay.
We'll soldier on.
That's right. Oh, look at that. You can
Oh,
simultaneous
there's
fist
look
bump.
at you guys. Yeah. Maybe she'll do it. We can just
So, back to the annual dinner.
Yes, great.
Yes.
So it's going to be open to the public.
Yes.
That sounds very good.
And we'll start to promote it more heavily. Tickets will be available on the Two Rivers Main Street website, as well as possibly another location or two. That's something we're still working on. And frankly, we're doing this for a couple reasons. And really the biggest reason is to get the word out about Main Street, to educate more people in the community about why we're here and what we do, what we've accomplished over the past year and the past 23 years, and what we're trying to do going forward. So we're going to use it for that purpose. I would also like to use it to gather a little bit of information. The Main Street Board of Directors is going to, not long after that, on November 5th, I believe.
I think so.
Yes, 5th, is going to be holding a strategic planning session where we try and figure out a direction for the organization for the next 1 year and 5 years, and maybe a little bit beyond that after I retire. And
You're never allowed to retire, Roger. I'm sorry.
and this could be if used properly, it could be a way for us to ask the public, what do you want? This is what Main Street does now. What would you like us to do in the future?
Right.
And I wouldn't even be bashful, frankly, about asking that question in front of this group of people and letting them shout out answers and having
Right.
somebody writing them down. Because it's fairly easy for us to get information from the business community. It's a lot harder to get information from the general public.
Right.
And the more information we have before we go into this strategic planning session on the 5th, the better off we're going to be.
Sure, of course.
I think that's, and what is the date of the dinner?
Tuesday, October 22nd.
Okay, and then November 5th is strategic, so
Yes.
that would be, yeah,
Yep.
that's a good time to do it.
And we also chose the date for strategic planning based on the fact that, again, at our annual dinner, we will elect potentially 2 new board members.
Right.
One may end up getting elected for a second term. But this will give us the opportunity to include all of our board members that we currently have, plus the new ones that will be actually starting their term on the board in January. We could include that whole group in the planning session too.
Okay.
So we get the ideas of the people that are leaving the board as well as the ideas of the people that are just coming on.
Your seasoned veterans and people with fresh eyes,
Yep.
yeah, who have not,
Yes.
because I'm sure, yeah, I mean, we've got some people coming on who have not participated, and they're gonna have some fresh ideas,
Yes.
which is, that's gonna be great.
Excellent. Well, Roger, I think that brings us to the end of yet another Main Street Minutes. And really appreciate you coming on, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time around. And hopefully by next time, Darla will have some bandages for her hand. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
All right. Well, it should sign off like that. Darla, me, and Killer are going to be right back after this.
Cujo.
Look at, oh my gosh. This is so cool.
Yeah, I'm a big
We're rolling.
Are we rolling?
Yeah.
We're rolling. Okay.
You want to take this?
Sure.
Okay.
It's, Boehm?
Bean, like a fine Kentucky bourbon.
Beam. That's easy to remember. Okay. Welcome back, everybody. We are really pleased to have our next guest with us, Mr. Kevin Boehm, who is the director of the Two Rivers Parks and Recreation Department. He is with us along with our new recruit and co-star, little smidgen, tiny little smidgen,
Yes.
who is falling asleep because she's had a very full puppy day here already. But it doesn't seem that Kevin objects to holding her for a little
She
while.
smells delightful for a puppy. So
A little perfumey.
Yeah.
Kevin, welcome to the show. We're real glad to have you on.
thank you. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, I appreciate you taking a little time out of your day off to come and speak with us. Yeah, so you're not from around here, are you?
I'm not. I'm a native of Kenosha, Wisconsin. I was born and raised there. I spent the first 20 plus years of my career working in Waukegan, Illinois. Always a Wisconsin resident. I made the journey over the state line every day.
Okay.
Spent a couple years in Madison, Wisconsin, and then the last 3 years prior to my coming, I was in Enid, Oklahoma. So,
Enid, Oklahoma.
Enid, Oklahoma, home of Vance Air Force Base.
Okay. Is that somewhere near Oklahoma City, or?
It's about an hour northwest of Oklahoma City.
Okay.
About 2 hours west of Tulsa.
Okay. Okay.
So
What was your population there?
about 68,000.
Yeah.
68,000 people.
68,000?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Okay, so it's a nice size.
It's
Perfect.
like the fifth largest community in Oklahoma. Recently rated the #1 place to raise a family in Oklahoma. So
Wow.
Cool.
yeah.
Well,
Very cool.
anybody's tuning in from Enid, Oklahoma, please give us a shout out in the comments. We'd love to hear from you, and you can say hi to Kevin.
And Smidge.
And Smidge.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about. I mean, you've had a really successful year with the Parks and Rec Department. Tell us a little bit about the programs you're most proud of.
Probably the program that we're most proud of has to be Bands on the Beach. You know, for many years we've done the Central Park Concert Series, and when I was interviewing for the position, one of the questions that I asked Greg Buckley was, you know, here's this beautiful beach, this fantastic pavilion. What are we doing on the pavilion? And the answer was pretty limited.
Mm-hmm.
So it was one of my goals through the interview process and upon taking the position to really just start programming the beach a little bit more, and you know, we tout it as the best beach in Wisconsin, and it is the best beach in
It
Wisconsin.
really is. Yeah.
And how do we get more people active down there and draw people to the beach? And you know, when we draw people in from outside of our community, you know, that's better for our local business and our local economy as well. So anything that we can do to bring people to our main attraction, you know,
Yeah.
really want to emphasize that. So I'd say that's the best and the biggest accomplishment that we've made this year.
And you've done so much there. I mean, and it was something that struck my wife and I when we first moved to the area and came to the beach. We saw this really cool pavilion, and we're like, "What's happening here?" And at the time, there wasn't really a lot.
Yeah.
But you've really kind of made that a destination spot.
Yeah, and you know, our Central Park Concert Series, that's more what I'll call like the bar band type of performers.
Mhm.
You know, our regional, local acts that, you know, have a big following in the area, and some of them are local musicians and stuff like that. And then with Bands on the Beach, we wanted to bring in, you know, some bigger named bands that have more of a following, and maybe make that more of like a weekend destination
Right.
thing, and we've had some challenges with it, and you know I've learned quite a bit.
More
from
power.
more power, more sound. Starting it a little bit later, maybe you know including some Friday and Saturday night performances rather than just on Sundays.
Right.
The goal was to keep people here on the weekends. You know, after the beach starts calming down about 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock on Sunday, maybe keeping people in town a little bit longer, you know, so they can have dinner here and stuff like that. And I think that's still going to be our goal. We're just going to be looking at more Friday and Saturday performances next year.
Very nice.
Isn't one of the things with the pavilion too is you want to keep some open dates though for people who want to rent it out, you know, like weddings on the beach and all that. So, because I know I was talking with someone and they were like, man, you should have something, you know, scheduled like constantly. And it was like, but you want to have that pavilion available for private events, and also not just for private individuals, but also for some of our civic clubs who want to have events as well. So,
And we hold several weddings on the beach each year, and recently I was approached by Sepia Chapel staff to see how they can market their wedding chapel and include weddings on the beach. And
okay.
so there's going to be some little bit of promotion going on from them. But, you know, I think the thing that a lot of people don't realize is, yeah, we could have something, you know, down there every day. It takes a lot of money and it takes a lot of time.
It does.
And, you know, these events don't just pop up and happen,
Right.
you know.
No, and you have a certain budget.
I have a very small budget, and we do rely very heavily on our local businesses and our local community to help sponsor
Right.
a lot of the events that we do, and it does take a lot of money to do that
Right.
stuff.
Because you have Parks and Rec staff who need to be there. And of course, it's a weekend, and I mean, these are paid positions.
Correct.
So, and I just want people to realize that, you know, and there are volunteers for some of the events, but there is a cost to the city, and like Kevin, like you just said, you have a limited budget, and thank goodness we have very supportive businesses in the area who are more than happy to sponsor.
Yeah, and we can't thank them enough, and you know, I'm trying to come up with some different ways to thank our sponsors, and you know, it's not said enough. Thank you. You know, we couldn't do it without our local businesses, and you know, thanks to my family, not only for putting up with the long hours and the time away from home, but you know, my family's usually out there helping me through all the events. You know, my wife and my children. So thank you to them as well.
I think that's wonderful.
Any other, when you came up the Two Rivers, before you took the job, had you been up here before, or?
My family's from Peshtigo, which is about, you know, an hour and a half north of Green Bay, and I've driven past here so many times, and I just made this comment this week that I've been past Manitowoc so many times, and I never have been to this area prior to my interview, and one of the things that really drew me to accepting the position really was that I felt like I was at home. The people here are just so awesome, and I was here for several days prior to my interview, and you know, just walking around downtown, visiting the stores and the shops downtown, and patronizing the local businesses, and everyone was just so welcoming, and I think that's really the crown jewel that Two Rivers has to offer is we are very polite and welcoming people. So
there's a really strong sense of place here. Right?
There is.
Yeah, and I think I would have to think that as somebody who, you know, professionally been in the Parks and Rec field for some years now, it's sort of the challenge of highlighting people's attention to what a cool place this is. You should turn off the highway and come see this place. And then for those residents who are here, there should be a lot of neat programs. One of the things that kind of struck me, we're going through this branding process for the city right now, and Civic Brands, the agency that was hired to come up from Richardson, Texas, to come take a look at us and make some recommendations. One of the comments they made on the show was, you guys really kind of punch above your weight in terms of events in this city. There's a lot going on here. For a city this size, we got a lot happening.
There is. I'm very thankful that this weekend there isn't anything. I'm taking the weekend off. It's my first weekend off.
And yet you're
since
here on your
June
day
15th,
off.
But, it's really important to share what we're doing in this community. And it's not just the city or the city departments. A lot of our civic groups, TRBA, Kiwanis, Rogers Street, the Historical Society, Main Street. I mean, there's just so many organizations that are doing things here in Two Rivers for the community of Two Rivers and the people that live here. And I think that's probably one of the neatest things about this community is, and I've worked in this is my fourth municipal position, and we would do 2-3 community events a year. I'm pretty sure there's 2 or 3 community events happening every weekend in Two
Right.
Rivers. So there's always, if you can seriously tell me there's nothing to do in Two Rivers,
You're not looking.
you gotta crawl out from under that rock, because
Right.
there's just so
seriously.
much going on. And the great thing about it is it covers everybody. It's not, there's activities for the kids and all the way up to our seniors. So there's always something neat and exciting going on in Two Rivers.
Right. You know what I can't believe is that, and we just reported on it, Unity of the Band is going to be your closer for this season.
Yeah.
And that's coming up so fast.
It
And it's
is,
kind of
and
like, dang.
Thankfully.
Yeah, you're like, thank you.
It's been a very busy summer, and I really wanted to put a capstone on Bands on the Beach 2019. And when we were thinking about doing this, I put out a post on our Facebook page on Two Rivers Parks and Recreation, and what bands would you want to see? And then I took that list and I narrowed it down to, like 10, 15 bands that were more regional acts, and Unity and Saving Savannah were our 2 highest rated bands. So we opened with Saving Savannah, and then we're closing with Unity. So it's going to be a nice capstone to the entire series. I'm really looking forward to not only having them come here, they're an amazing band, but also that's our last one for the season.
It's a big smile on your face.
We can start planning. We're already in the planning stages for 2020. So it is going to continue, and hopefully it grows. And I think it was very well received by not only the community but our businesses, and we brought in people from as far away as Janesville, Rockford, Illinois, just to come and see some of the bands that we've had. So we're bringing people in from outside the area, and they're spending the night, and they're spending money here in town. So
local music is such a huge draw,
Yeah.
and then maybe having a little additional hotel capacity next year is definitely not going to hurt for the tax base, and certainly bring some more dollars into the city.
Absolutely.
And music goes so good with the beach setting, and I mean it's perfect. It's perfect use.
It is, and some of the things that we found is some of our bands don't have the audio capacity to beat out the waves. So we will be looking at investing in some better sound equipment that we can provide, and we will be asking for some donations on that as well. And I think it's really important to have the availability to provide that for some of the bands that don't have the equipment.
I've been on a really windy day too. If that wind is hitting in the right direction, it's just I know it sounds kind of elementary, but it's blowing those sound waves away from the crowd too. I mean, so actually, in that location, there's a lot to contend with.
There is,
which I never really thought about before.
And we've endured wind, rain,
Yep.
storms, cold. So
Yeah.
the only thing we haven't done, and maybe on September 8th we'll get a little bit of snow. So
No,
No.
that has to be a perfect beach day that day because that's gonna be
Reggae and
cool.
snow. Not going to
Yeah.
happen. Sorry.
yeah,
Did you ever see
we
the
pretty much
movie?
experienced everything else
Yeah.
down there this
Yeah,
summer.
right.
So
Well, I was just thinking about the Jamaican bobsled.
Oh,
team.
yeah. Right.
So maybe, hey, why not? You know.
Okay, sure.
I wanted to talk about movies on the beach because you had a resounding success with Jaws.
we did, and little more than we anticipated. We were expecting about 200 to 300 people, and that's what we had planned on. And we had 2 people count participants, and both came in right in around 1,350 people.
Wow.
So
Oh,
little more than we were expecting.
wow.
Yeah, great night. I mean, we couldn't have asked for nicer weather.
Right.
The location, the movie selection. You know, it was just it was just a fantastic evening.
Yeah.
Couldn't have asked for better. We ended up and we were selling popcorn, and the concession stand was supposed to close at 6 o'clock, so that we can make some money on our popcorn and concessions. And I asked him, I said, "Can you stay open?"
Yeah.
And I'm so thankful he did. We ended up ourselves popping 35 pounds of popcorn seeds.
Oh my gosh.
So that's a lot of popcorn, and we could not keep up with the demand. But you know, I think the biggest question that I've been asked this week has been, when are we doing it again?
Right.
Yeah.
And again, it takes a lot of time and effort to make that happen, as well as money, because we have to pay for the license for the
Right.
movie. And that's several $100s. It was $400 for 200 person audience. So the price increases the more participants. It also increases on who produced the movie, how old it is.
Right.
And that movie's from 1975.
Mhm.
So if you think of, if we were to do like Moana or a new Disney movie, that price
That
would
is
be
gonna
Oh,
be
of
huge.
course.
a lot more. But I will tell you all that we are in discussions with the NFL to possibly show the opening game of the Packers at Walsh
You're
Field.
kidding.
I have to get permission from the NFL first, because the screen is bigger than 55 inches. So
Yeah.
it does, it gets into their copyright
Okay.
laws, but we are working with some office staff from the Green Bay Packers to get us
That is
permission.
amazing.
So
I
hopefully we
wasn't
can pull that
expecting
off.
that.
Oh,
So
Wait, no,
you're
this is-
hearing it here
this
first.
is an exclusive.
This is an exclusive.
Wow.
Nice.
Again, nothing's written in stone, but we are in negotiations with the NFL to make that a reality.
That's super
Oh,
exciting.
wow.
Yeah.
And if that happens, we'll do some tailgating and
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
stuff out at Walsh Field. So
Oh my gosh.
That'll be a big.
and
draw.
that's September 5th.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. Watch our Facebook page. As soon as we know, we will announce it.
Okay.
We'll put it up here on our pages as well. So you can see.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we're excited. We're hopeful. So
Yeah.
hopefully it can. The
I
NFL, if you're watching,
Wow.
please let us have that.
Please.
I never would have thought of that. That is really thinking
cool
outside
idea.
the box.
Yeah.
Kudos to you. That is
Yeah.
that is phenomenal.
And I've had some help on that locally here. So,
Okay.
Oh,
Wow.
Okay. Okay. Great.
but
Great.
yeah,
Well, let me ask you this: as far as Hollywood movies, what could you possibly follow up after having had Jaws, which is like the seminal, water film? Even though we were on fresh water, it doesn't matter because
Yeah.
people were still scared, which was fantastic.
Do Waterworld, which would scare you in a different kind of way.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to watch it because
No,
it's so
right. You have
horrible.
to look away.
But I mean, what are some other movies that?
well,
you
some of the
can think
suggestions that we're getting from the community are Goonies.
Oh,
That one's been
sure,
suggested
sure.
a lot. Field of Dreams, playing that at Walsh Field, especially with the
Oh, yeah.
recent announcement that they had that they're going to be playing some pro games out at that complex. So
I didn't know that.
That's cool.
yeah.
Wow.
So Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of, are we going to keep it on the beach? Are we going to move it around? We do own the equipment, so the
Right.
possibilities are, really,
That's so cool.
however creative and interesting we want to get. And I'd like to do more of a theme night
Yeah.
stuff. I mean, Jaws was just,
You can't
sure,
beat that.
sure.
That
It
was
was
like
a-
primo.
it was a fluke in all reality. I mean, we picked it and we did not expect the turnout that we got. And
So
proud
yeah.
and so happy. And I think the coolest thing is, I'm pretty sure that beach was busier than it is on the 4th of July that night, and no incidents, and kudos to all the people that came out, and, not only from Two Rivers, Manitowoc, Kewanee, Mishika, came out to see the movie, and everyone was so respectful and
Good.
left orderly,
Yeah.
picked up their trash. It was just a great night in Two Rivers.
Well, that speaks volumes
Yeah.
about the people in the area.
Yeah.
Because that was a huge number of people, very concentrated in a
Yep.
small area. And I just wanted to tell you that I had gone out on Facebook and I had requested that, hey, if you were at Jaws
Mhm.
and you took some photos, please send them to me, because I wanted to do like a roll B over the top of our talking about Jaws
Yeah.
with people's photos, and the response was awesome, and I've had quite a few sent to me as well. And the ones that really struck me were first of all, there was a lot of people out in the water,
Yes.
and which
And that water's cold.
oh yeah, but some of the photos were taken from the boats,
Oh,
offshore,
yeah. Cool.
and you could still see that screen.
So neat.
So I think your sound system you really kind of want to upgrade, but your screen seemed adequate. I mean,
We owned a screen, and it's a 20-foot diagonal screen, and I ordered a replacement screen because that screen's really only good for 50 to 100 people.
Mhm.
And so I wanted to go the next step up, and that's a 32-foot
okay,
screen. So I ordered the screen, and it wasn't really clearly identified when I ordered it. I did purchase it out of China, and there was some translation issues in the description of the product. It's not a 32-foot diagonal, it's 32 feet wide and 17 foot tall, which is the standard movie theater
okay.
size.
No wonder it worked.
So it was, I'm really thankful that we
That there
bought
was
that
that
bigger
foobar,
screen.
yeah.
Yeah, so
That's cool.
our mistake, but it worked out really
It
well.
was a happy little oops.
Yeah,
I mean, it was
absolutely.
meant to be.
Absolutely.
But
So-
it's like anytime I order anything, then it's coming out of China. Instead of getting the size that I would typically get, all of a sudden I'm in the 4Xs.
yeah.
Because that's the only way, because their way of measuring things is way different than ours.
Or you
So-
order a dress and it comes, it's a doll dress. Or
It's a
something.
doll dress, yeah, it's a Barbie dress.
Yeah.
So there was a little bit of a snafu there, but
It worked.
it worked out fantastic, and the screen is actually bigger than the pavilion, so we couldn't put it on the pavilion. We had to put it in front.
Okay.
Uh,
Wow.
and then that goes along with the bigger screen. We had to purchase a better projector
Right.
to fill that space.
Right.
But really a great investment, and we're looking forward to continuing some movies in 2020.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to be a every weekend thing. I don't want to make it boring either.
Oh yeah.
You
you
want
know,
it to be
right.
special.
Yeah. So we do have some planning to do this fall.
Okay.
Really, I want to get everything for 2020 together before the end of this year, so we kind of know what we're expecting. And this year we've had a lot of staffing adjustments in the Parks and Recreation Department, and some changes of job responsibilities. And the biggest one was we moved the special event responsibilities out from someone that's been doing it for years, and put it with somebody else, and then they resigned their position, and so I kind of picked up the pieces, and we've done a lot of things last minute this year, and it hasn't really reflected well on us, and I haven't given the right recognition to the sponsors. So this year, we want to have everything in place before the end of the year so that we can go out and solicit it. We have rock solid plan, and then we can also follow up and follow through with recognizing our sponsors directly and properly. So that's been a real issue for me personally, and we're gonna make it right
Okay.
for everybody
And
moving in.
it's just gonna get better and better.
Yes.
You just learn as you go, and
Yes.
and that's
Yeah.
all you can do is just keep on going and going up. I mean, just improve
Yeah.
on what you've already done right. You know, next year, are we gonna be having volleyball again? Or do you know at this point?
We've been having some conversations and as of today, yes, we will be having a volleyball. I'm not sure where our contract is with EVP
Okay,
as far as if we're still in contract with that organization, or if we're going to be doing it through the group that supports that.
Okay.
That's not a recreation program. We do work with that organization to provide training, and classes on the beach, and we're going to be evaluating that as well.
okay.
Cool.
And anything else that's gonna be new for next year, or?
Lots of new things coming
Oh,
up.
man.
I love it.
Nice.
Lots of, by the time this goes public, you should have already received notification through Facebook. We're looking for your input on what programs and classes and stuff that you want to see in your own community. So if you can take that time and complete that survey, we'll come up with some cool drawings and some raffle items. But we're really looking for the community's input on what we can do to serve you better. We do have a new recreation supervisor. She's been here for about 5 days now.
Oh,
Okay. Thank you for the fire hose.
Yeah, absolutely. But she's doing fantastic, and she came to us from the city of Green Bay, where she was the health and wellness coordinator up there. Lots of fresh ideas, lots of energy and passion, and we're really looking forward to what she brings. Some of the cool things that we've done this year that we're going to be re-exploring, and how can we improve on it and make it bigger, better? Can we offer it in different ways? Is our cosmic dodgeball.
oh, yeah.
Oh, it's fine.
So are there
Yeah.
other things that we can do with the black lights and glow in the dark stuff? Volleyball, basketball. I mean, we can really
Okay, yeah.
open that up a little bit more. And then our Nerf War programs that we've had, and we're going to be looking at doing that cosmic as well. So
That would be cool.
Cosmic Nerf War.
cosmic
Yeah.
Nerf
Oh,
War.
I
So
love it.
Because we did go over there and film it, and we showed it on one of our episodes. and I heard from people afterwards. They were like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't realize it would have been that fun
yeah.
to have gone." So that really piqued people's interest. It's kind of the shoulda, coulda, woulda
Yeah, we had
type of thing.
we limited it to 50 people on the course, and we had over 2,000 darts.
Wow.
That was amazing. You were just carpeted
Yeah.
with that. How did you clean
You
this
just vacuum
up?
them up after?
No, vacuums didn't work. We tried leaf blowers, that didn't work. We tried brooms, that didn't work. What actually worked is if you take the exercise mats and lay them on their side, you could
And
push
scoop?
them. You
Really?
could push them across the floor. That's about
Oh.
everything else created a friction between that rubber and that sealant on the floor.
Okay,
They just sat there with the blower.
laughing at
They
you.
would all turn and just face the same way, and then sit there and vibrate. It was just the craziest thing. We're throwing 300-mile-an-hour air at them, and they're just sitting there.
Very aerodynamic.
Nice. So, but we're looking to expand on that, and we're looking to do more stuff with the kids in the community. One of my goals is to make the recreation department more family orientated. Right now, we're kind of known as the senior center, and we've done a lot of things to eliminate some of the issues that the community house has had in the past, and the reputation that it's carried over many years. And kind of come across as the big meanie by shutting down open gym and closing the building off to people just hanging out in the hallways and stuff like that. But we had to take control of the building
Right.
and
There was
establish.
good reason.
There was absolutely.
Yeah.
We do have a security system in place now, so the building is being monitored, and recorded. There's many security cameras throughout the building.
Good.
And now that that's in place, we've established control of the building. Now we're going to start slowly reintroducing stuff going on in the building. And my biggest goal is I want people to feel safe. And that's been an issue for many years, that families didn't feel safe to allow their children to participate in programs there, and just didn't feel safe in the building. So that's been a real big goal, is just to reestablish that it's a great component of this community, and we are so blessed to have that facility, and we want to make sure that it's here for another 100 years. It's coming up on its 100-year anniversary. It was built in 1931, so we're about 12 years out from its 100th year, and we want to make sure that's around for another 100 years. And so we've been working really diligently to create a better place for everybody.
Well, your efforts so far have certainly been really great, and we very much appreciate you being on the show, Kevin. I hope you're able to come back and tell us about more exciting things as they develop.
Absolutely.
Clearly, Smidge loves you.
Smidge is out.
She's been like gold.
I'm kind of wondering if she's still alive.
I don't know what's going on there. But
Put a mirror under her nose, you know.
But anyways, yeah. So thank you again. Congratulations for the successes of 2019.
Yeah.
We're very much looking forward to 2020. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
And we appreciate all of your efforts and your stick-to-itiveness. And because I know that we've enjoyed some of the things that you've provided through Parks and Rec, and we sincerely appreciate it.
And I appreciate being here, and Two Rivers is worth all the efforts that everybody in this community puts into it.
Excellent.
Great.
Very good. And you will be back with us.
Thank you.
Okay.
Speaking of being back, we'll be right back after this.
Make sure everything's even here. Okay. All right. Well, welcome back. We are delighted to have Mr. Rick Carey with us today, and we're going to be speaking about the Cobblestone Hotel project. And as everybody knows, there's been a reveal that was during the Main Street Week, I think is what it was called. And Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes was here for that, and it was a huge deal. And we're very happy for you. And one of the things I know that we'll touch on today is the fact, we'll talk about the trials and tribulations of getting this project off the ground and to fruition. Because there's always Murphy's Law's, map of roadblocks.
Sure.
That are never on the map. They just kind of like happen. So thank you very much for being with us
Thank you for having
today.
me.
This is
You're
fantastic.
welcome. Really glad to have you here.
It's nice to be here.
And hope to have maybe sort of a broader conversation too about being an entrepreneur in
Yes.
the city of Two Rivers, and sort of like what you see as the climate here,
Sure.
how things have changed, because you've had a long history with the city.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
So why don't we kick off with a little bit of your background, like what's your connection to Two Rivers and your history here in the city?
Sure. I grew up in the Manitowoc area, Manitowoc Two Rivers area. Grew up on the south side of Manitowoc. My parents owned the Mazda Volkswagen dealership on Lakeshore Drive, or Memorial Drive. It was Carey Lakeshore Mazda Volkswagen. So every Saturday growing up, I would wash cars out on Memorial Drive, which is really right where the hospitals are right now. It's the surgery center now.
Oh.
So I was joking earlier that on every Saturday I would come and get my club sub from Fatso's. So I have a long history going back. I remember when Family Video was a Hardee's. So just a long history of Two Rivers with Manitowoc. Went to college in Milwaukee and Madison, and lived in Europe for a little while, and met my wife in Madison, and was able to come back to Two Rivers, and I moved to Two Rivers in 2006, in January 2006, and have been here ever since.
As a business owner and as the CEO of Metalware,
That's right.
what is it that why have a business in Two Rivers? What is it that made it an attractive place to run a business?
Well, Two Rivers has a great manufacturing history. I mean, I think that's a big part of Two Rivers' past and a part of Two Rivers' future. That to me was exciting. There's a great workforce here, a dedicated workforce, specifically like at Metalware. In we have a union and non-union side of the company, which is interesting. We have a very good relationship on both sides, but our union side I think we have 5 or 6 employees with 20 plus years of experience. And it's the anomaly today where people work at a place for that long. And it's part of the culture here that work ethic is deep within the Two Rivers and Manitowoc area. And that to me was really attractive. Having grown up here, especially with the Miro in the background, my neighbors were all involved with Miro in one way or another. So the metal stamping, deep draw, the work ethic, it was something that I was excited to come back and be a part of. And I noticed that when I left the area, that not everywhere around the country has that same general attitude. It's something unique to our area. It's, I'm sure, a part of our history and our culture here. And quite frankly, it was fun to come back to it and be surrounded by it again. It energizes you.
That's great. That's great. And so I'm interested in the connection between making a leap from running a metal stamping company to investing in a hotel build. So Cobblestone is a great project. We're excited about it.
Yep.
And you're one of 15 investors that are putting money into this project for the city. What was the thinking there? What turned you on to the idea of doing the Cobblestone project?
Well, it's a good story. It's a fun story. I don't know if you remember the Blue Goose in town.
Yeah, sure.
But the Blue Goose was available. It was in the state at the time. Goose had passed away, and my business partner Ross and I thought, geez, what a great location. There's so few places here in town that overlook the water, that take advantage of the water in general. And again, coming from Madison, Milwaukee, where those cities had turned back to the water, we thought, hey, we could be a catalyst for this. We could help, we could do something with this building and turn back towards the water, maybe do something with it. We talked to some investors, old roommates from college of ours who lived in other cities. We showed it to them, and they were excited about it as well. So we thought maybe we'd be able to buy that, do something neat with it. And, it was right where the two rivers come together. But unfortunately, well, I shouldn't say unfortunately because it worked out pretty well. But the city had other plans for it. It was part of their master harbor plan. The building, and quite frankly, the building was old. It was in tough shape, and it would have required a tremendous amount of work to get back into a serviceable area. And so the city talked to us about this idea of a hotel, and that the community itself could benefit from additional lodging. The Lighthouse Inn is here in another great location, overlooks the lake, fantastic family that owns that and operates it. But there is an underserviced side of the community on lodging. So they talked to us about it, and I talked to Ross about it. We like the idea of a challenge and something that's outside our daily routines. One of the things we find that if we challenge our minds and we think a different way, that those ideas that come out of those types of processes can translate into our everyday working at our day-to-day job. So the hotel became a project of ours after hours. We would literally say, okay, close the laptops down. We're done with the metalware business for today. Let's talk about the hotel. So that's kind of how the genesis began. And the first step for us was we did a market study. We hired a company to do a market study, and they came back and confirmed our suspicions that there was a need for a hotel. As a matter of fact, it seemed to indicate that there was a deep need within our community for it. I don't know if you know this, but the newest hotel in Manitowoc County is the American Inn, and that's, at this point, I believe, 22 years old.
I was going to say, that's been around a while now.
It has, at 22 years old, and the average...
That's right off the interstate.
It is. I mean, you're
Yeah.
really talking about the other side of the county at this point.
Right.
The average age of our hotel in this community is 37 years old.
Wow.
I mean, so, there's nothing wrong with that, but it also indicates that it's an underserviced area because it's been so long since something's been constructed.
Well, and we've, I think spent a lot of time because Darla and I are both involved with the rebranding effort for the city, and some of the work that Civic Brand has been engaged to come up and do and kind of talk about like why this is a great destination, why it's a great place to do business and all that. And one of the things that struck them when we interviewed them was they said, you guys really punch above your weight as far as events that go on in the city. But where do people stay, right?
Right.
And so, it makes total sense. And I'm just kind of floored, though, by the fact that these hotels are so old and nothing has been built in such a long period of time.
And I know that, like, with having the new Cobblestone, one thing that's kind of come out of all of this, and actually having Two Rivers Talks, is that through this, I have learned that there are a lot of Airbnbs in this area, which also to me is an indicator that it is an underserved type of service. And now you have like Sepia Chapel, which is going to, you're gonna have wedding parties, you're gonna have people coming in from out of town, you know, to attend weddings and to attend the receptions and the festivals, and just, we're really beefing a lot of stuff up around here the draw is gonna be tremendous, you know.
And I'm glad you brought up Sepia Chapel. That was early in the process a catalyst for us. Sepia Chapel had opened. I was on the board for the Chamber of Commerce. We had an opportunity to have a meeting there, and I was blown away by how nice that facility is and what they have done with it. But I was looking at it and saying, okay, this is great, but having, you know, wasn't that far, you know, or long ago since I've been married. I'm like, boy, but they need lodging.
Right.
And so we saw that, we're like, okay, there's another component of what makes a hotel work. And at the same time, we weren't interested in doing something that was an inclusive ballroom and restaurant. We are servicing our community with something like that. But it was a different choice. The Sepia Chapel paired with a separate hotel, and then just along the way, the Waverly was restored, which again, what an amazing restoration project that was. And it was right where we were going to put the hotel. So things started coming together. And of course, they made that decision without us or without the hotel as being a part of it. We made our decisions without that. But all of a sudden, you started seeing something build on itself, and we really started getting excited about it.
Oh, I think that's fantastic.
So when we saw the reveal of the plans and just sort of the drawings that are up there, it was really exciting to see a couple of the amenities that I wasn't expecting to see. One of which was really liked the idea of the meeting room at the top floor.
Wow, yeah.
That's taking a chance, or not taking a chance, but that was like your prime real estate.
It was.
Area, you know?
That is going to be, honestly, that is going to be the best room. And if you look at the drawings, so one of the things we did when we were putting together an investor packet is we went and we actually walked up on the Blue Goose. It was still there. We walked up on the deck and we took pictures up on that deck looking out because, and then we looked back and we thought to ourselves, well, that's only the second story of a four-story hotel. And the view was absolutely stunning. I'm like, Ross, imagine when this is going to be 4 stories tall. This is going to be incredible because you'll be able to see both of the rivers and they arch back. I mean, you ever look at an aerial of 2 rivers, the way the rivers work within our city, and then confluence, and then out, you know, you have the Coast Guard station, you have the breakwater, and we were so excited about what that was going to look like. So then what we really wanted to do is put a rooftop deck on. That was, I mean, from the very, I've been probably within the first 20 minutes of us discussing this was us discussing a rooftop deck and how amazing that would be. And like your point about Murphy's Law is that, you know, as you investigated it, our investigation showed it would cost an additional $1.6 million on a $6 million project to put a rooftop deck. And I can go into it, and it's fun building codes, but what it really amounted to is that there's certain building codes that a 4-story building can be within, and when it goes to 5, it's a whole different structure of building codes, which requires different foundations, different structural support, and they would consider it a living area as long as people are occupying it. And it was just, and to our dismay, it just wasn't going to be a practical approach for it. So what we did instead is we looked and we again, problem solving. We thought, okay, what about this room? We know that there's a demand for this. We know we would enjoy this. What about this room? And so actually one of the influences for this was, if you're in downtown Manitowoc, we had breakfast at Dolly's downtown Manitowoc, and Dermatology Associates. I think it's an updated name, so I apologize for that. But they had done something very similar, and they created a rooftop deck on their top floor by kind of pulling the walls back. And we looked at that and we thought, well, we can't really do that, but could we take a room and make it a glass enclosed room? And again, drawing on our own experiences from getting married, was this idea of, there's usually that one, I mean, in a 55-room hotel, wedding parties are going to basically, or weddings in general, are going to occupy almost the entire hotel.
Right.
But there needs to be that one room, and it can be the couple who's getting married, but more than likely, it's one of the parents who would take this room and be able to entertain in it. So we've added windows, we've made it where the bedroom is in a separate bedroom, and the windows wrap the entire room. So when you're in it, it'll
Wow.
be floor to ceiling windows.
That's cool.
It's going to be fantastic.
Spectacular. Nice.
It'll be a great addition. And, it was modestly more expensive to be able to do it. And there wasn't really the ROI. And quite frankly, that's what drives you on these things. But we thought there might not be the immediate ROI on it, but the idea of this being a true focal point for our community, it was worth the investment for us to be able to do that. And it was moderately more expensive, but it was definitely one of the best investments I believe that we're making.
I think eventually it is gonna give you a return on your investment. And then also, when it's not being used for that type of purpose, I mean, that is available for meetings.
Yep.
And I mean,
That'd be so great. And I think
it would
even
be so nice not to be in a basement.
Right.
When you
Yeah.
go to a hotel and they put you either on the first floor back by like the loading dock, or or you are literally in a basement, because I know at the Paper Valley, nothing against the Paper Valley Hotel because I do love them. I don't like your basement,
No, and that's where all the entertainment or the
Right.
yeah. I completely, and that was part of our thought process as well. And if you look at the topography there, you're already sitting up on a hill because it drops off to the river relatively quickly off of that. So one of the neat things is, and even any of the first story rooms, and there's several accessible first story rooms that'll be a part of the hotel. But when you get that second story, you're already able, and you're up high enough that you can see the Suzy Q, right? From
Right.
pretty much any room in the hotel, you can see that. You can see the rivers come together, and from there it just gets better.
right.
So yeah, I think that room will be fantastic, and hopefully we'll have an ROI. I think, for any hotel, winter months are always a challenge, and this room will have spectacular views in the wintertime.
well, I
That'll
think,
be
I mean, especially for a room that could accommodate maybe 15, 20 people pretty easily.
I think that's almost exactly right. Yep.
It's not going to work for a conference, but it'd be really good for an executive retreat or a planning retreat for an organization or a workshop, something like that. That's my stock in trade. I'd love to do some stuff.
Or recording a segment of Two Rivers Talks.
Right, with that background,
Oh.
it'll go national instantly.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. We'll do it.
You talked us into it.
Twist your arms a little bit more. Well, I think it will be. I mean, I think that's going to be great. The other thing is, I get a lot of questions on whether it be a pool or not, and there will be a pool.
There is?
There is a pool on the first floor.
Oh, I didn't realize.
I didn't even realize that. That's awesome. Yeah.
It's one of those things where, in our opinion, this will be a family-oriented hotel.
Okay.
And family-oriented hotels should have pools,
Wow.
so that'll be included. It will have a breakfast area. Breakfast will be included with the hotel.
Nice.
And they do it really nice. I think it'll overlook the lake. It'd be probably one of the best views in all of the city for having your hotel breakfast. But and I'd like to talk about this a little bit. One of the things that, as we were doing this, our interest really was generated by the idea of benefiting the community. So the Cobblestone has an option for us to have a restaurant in the hotel. And we made a conscious choice not to have a restaurant in the hotel. And really that's driven by the idea that there are a number of restaurants within walking distance, quite frankly, from stone throwing distance to the hotel. And we believe that the hotel will act as a catalyst for those restaurants. And I've been in tours long enough to know that there are times where we are all screaming about why aren't there more restaurants here? This hotel, part of its purpose is to act as that catalyst, as that magnet for development around the area. And obviously the Waverly's doing great, it's a fantastic place, but it'll benefit them, it'll benefit the number of restaurants that are around it, and hopefully even create a few more.
And draw, yeah.
Yeah, and draw more into our
Right.
community.
I mean, there's even the turnkey opportunity with the dock, that they
Yes.
closed in a premature way. I thought it'd be an awesome place to even have some outdoor dining right there. It's just a really close walk.
They got the real estate there for
It's
it.
just perfect.
They
Yeah.
do, and and they did a really nice job of fixing that up. And I know the restaurant industry is a difficult industry,
Sure.
and it'll come and go as things go along. But I think once the hotel is up and operational, it'll be completely logical for that place to have
Right.
have a new tenant, to have a new restaurant there,
Mhm.
and again be serving something unique for our town, and hopefully become a destination for people around the community. I think having that revitalization of downtown Two Rivers will pull people from Green Bay, from Manitowoc, even if it's just to spend a night here. And the hotel hopefully will be that, ours or Lighthouse or any number of the other establishments. But once we can support and those types of restaurants, especially those difficult months of winter, those February, March, and we can get through that, that will do a lot to help our community out, and that'll create those ancillary jobs after that. After
Right.
those are supported, more jobs will be created, and more wages will go up, and it will draw more people to our community, which has been shrinking in the
Right.
last 10 years. But I do believe we're on the right track to have this community revitalized, to have more people move back into what is, quite frankly, a wonderful town.
And I can see the hotel being a destination in the wintertime because, especially because of having the swimming pool. Because I know when my kids were smaller,
Mhm.
winter sucks, it's cold, let's go do something fun. We would go to Green Bay, we would go to Appleton, we would stay at a hotel that had a pool,
Mhm.
and that was a destination, and it was fantastic. One thing I just wanted to mention is I really like the fact that the hotel is going to have 55 rooms.
Mhm.
You're going to have a wonderful breakfast in the morning. Now you are going to have a bar and a seating area outside, and we'll talk about that.
Sure.
Yeah, that was
in a
the
sec.
second thing I was excited about.
Yeah. We're always excited about bars and outdoor seating.
You get your Chardonnay,
You know,
right?
Chardonnay. What did you call it? My battle cry.
Your battle cry.
Um,
Chardonnay.
But the thing is, in 55 rooms, and now, but you're doing your footprint, or to accommodate a fifth. Is that still what you're doing?
A fifth floor?
Yeah,
No.
you're not.
No,
that
no.
was the original concept.
That
and
was
then
the
you
original
decided-
concept.
Okay.
And again, not to get into too many of the details, but it'll be a wood frame construction. If you go to a fifth floor hotel, it has to be a
Okay.
masonry combined with steel construction.
Right.
So really, once you build the frame out, it's going to be 4 stories.
Okay, because I remember at the beginning of the conversation
Yes.
I remember that.
Mhm.
So I like this even better. It's going to be 4 stories. It is low profile,
Mhm.
and it's got a gorgeous facade on it that is going to fit into this community so well. It's not going to be this big, giant, rectangular box that looms over the harbor,
Yes.
and doesn't fit into the community. It's going to fit, and I love low profile.
Well, and I'd love to talk about that because a lot of times I think there's a concern, especially with a town like ours, which hasn't been, it's not cookie cutter. There's nothing cookie
That's
cutter.
right.
You have the Schrader's department store downtown, has that great unique look. You have the new Bank First National building as you come into town, or the Leicester Library. It's just absolutely wonderful architecture. And that is not lost on us. Even Metalware's facade, as you go look at it, has that ledge stone outside of it.
Yeah.
That really ties into our community, and I know you've had Michael Dittmer on here before.
Right.
I mean, if I didn't do it right, Michael would hunt me down.
Yeah.
But basically, we've taken that into account, and Cobblestone's been so good to work with us on it. Many franchises, if we had done a Marriott or a Hilton, we would have no choice. It would be a certain cookie cutter design that you would do, but Cobblestone is truly, their whole purpose is to fit within a smaller community. So, yes, you have certain things you have to stay within, but they allow us to put a ledge stone design on the front of it, to light it like these other community buildings are lit, so it fits within the facades of the community.
Okay.
And those things are really important to us. I mean, architecturally, I think I shared with you before when we started the interview, I want it to be something I bring my kids to, I show them I'm
Right.
proud of, and it lasts beyond me. And this, to me, having that architecture fit within our community is incredibly important to me.
And I love it. I've never seen a hotel that has that kind of facade that looks like almost like townhouses
Yes,
that are right next to each other, but they're not all flush.
it's that texture.
Yeah, it's cool.
And to me, that was a big thing because the most economical way to build something is to basically make a big box,
Right.
And I had the fortune of going to Mongolia a few years ago, and Mongolia was really Ulaanbaatar was made by the Russians. It was designed by the Russians, and everything is complete utility. Everything is gray, it's square,
Right.
it's a box. And because from their perspective, they were like, yes, that's how you get the most bang for the buck. I don't care about architecture. And as I'd walk around that town, I was like, wow, it's really sad. There's, well, first of all, it was a nomadic tribes that settled it. So this was the Russians came in and did this sort of like utilitarian design. And I remember
And
thinking
you
to myself,
cannot leave.
I was like, yeah, exactly. And I escaped from there. Quite frankly, it was a great experience in my life because I got to see what you shouldn't do. And we came back here, and when you have the choice, yes, sometimes it's a little bit more expensive, but at the end of the day, it will have that longevity as a result of it. It won't be an eyesore. It'll be something that's truly a part of the community.
Right.
Well, and I think that's one of the things that was exciting to me about sort of inviting the community in. You know, I didn't know about the swimming pool, but even that outdoor seating area with the fire pit that's going to be out there. That's going to be so nice, especially because you can extend the season a little bit with that. You can have a little bit of warmth out there, still enjoy the outdoors and what the natural beauty of the area.
Yeah, well, we're doing this this cast right now in August. The idea of Cool City is awesome.
Yeah.
In April, it can be a hindrance, as we talked about,
Yeah.
when summer's coming. But the glass facade on the outside, we actually expanded that from our original design. And originally it was going to be facing the Waverly on that side of it, and we actually, through talking to the architect, said we should put it on the side that faces south and east. You'll get more sun exposure, it'll actually be more comfortable sitting, but that glass will actually help us be able to extend the season, we think at least a month on either side. And we'll have patio heaters that are out there as well. So hopefully, into October, November, we're still able to use it and enjoy those lake views in the fall.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, we really do not have anything like that in our community.
Right.
Although I will plug Tap to the Lakeshore. I see that they just did something similar. I'm sure it was the catalyst for them being able to do it. Hopefully they're watching right now.
Yeah, but I mean, there's plenty of room for both, because I think that, totally different experiences, throwing axes and,
No, but I just think it's a great idea. I mean, certainly we have nothing to do with that, but you see that we're beginning to embrace this idea of turning to the lake, turning to the water, and really embracing our natural resources here. And I think that this glass patio is going to be fantastic for us. Back to the Sepia Chapel, you can almost envision somebody, when they come for a wedding, they're enjoying the outdoor patio, they're enjoying the Sepia Chapel, and all the time seeing the Coast Guard station and the rivers and the Suzuki going out fishing. Those are the things that really uniquely identify our community, and people are going to be able to sit out there and enjoy that. What a lot of us take for granted because we live here and drive by it every single day, they'll enjoy it.
But he lives right on the drive. So he's right across the street from the lake, so he gets to see it from his breakfast nook every day. Whereas I'm over that way, and I don't get to see. I mean, what a treat! So is the patio area and the bar, is that open just to your guests, or is that open to the general public, and we can all come in and enjoy the space?
Absolutely, yeah. It's going to be open to the entire. It's going to be.
I'm there,
and that is part of our design. That's part of and to the fireplace too. I mean, we talked about a fire pit, but we actually are doing a full fireplace, and with the idea that, hey, that's going to extend that season out more. And yes, well, hopefully our hotel guests will enjoy it as well. But we want it to be a place for the community to enjoy it as well.
Okay.
I mean, I'm excited about it. I'm on the board for Tours Business Association, and as we're kind of reinventing that organization, trying to think about what we want it to be, one of the things that's been missing, that's kind of fallen away a little bit, has been sort of evening networking events. I mean, such an amazing place to do that. Like right now, if you wanted to do it, maybe the lighthouse, maybe CP Chapel would be awesome. But like to have a regular place that's looking out on the lake. I mean, even in Milwaukee, getting a venue like that would be really tough to do.
It is, you're right.
And so I am just so stoked about you having a place out there and being able to take advantage of those amenities. And
well, I'm excited too. Thank you.
Over the city, yeah.
I think just another thing too that we forget sometimes, but we've been making, as taxpayers, making investments within our community, our bike trails, and what we can do with our bike trails. As we watch the car ferry coming across the lake every single day, so many more people are taking advantage of biking as vacations.
Right.
We have this incredible natural resource of being able to take somebody from Ludington, somebody from Michigan, and bringing them across in the car ferry, and then biking along this incredible trail between Manitowoc and Two Rivers, up to Two Rivers, hopefully stay at one of the fine establishments we'll have here, hopefully having dinner here, spending money within our community, and then bike up to see the lighthouse in our state forest, which is an incredible bike ride. And we've been making these investments to attract the tourists to our community, provide amenities for people who live here as well. And we saw that as hoteliers. We thought, wow, this is incredible. It's going somewhere. And we haven't even talked about the beach yet, which is in itself an amazing thing. And the idea that Two Rivers has now allowed golf carts, slow-moving vehicles. I don't know if it's all slow-moving vehicles or it's just golf carts. But that's going to be another great item for us. So we envision having a golf carts that we'll rent out to people so they can go back and forth to the beach. Oh, it's going to be fantastic.
We just reported on the fact that now we can have golf carts.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, and it was like, well, we're already putting our thinking caps on to have like a taxi service. And
Right.
he cornered the
He's
market.
already got it.
Yeah. It'll be, I mean, you think about bringing your family over and being able to run out to the beach and come back during the day. And a lot of the hotel rooms will actually be full. You'll have refrigerators and stoves within the hotel room, so a family can have
Microwaves?
that, and microwaves as well.
Yes.
Every room has a
Good.
microwave, I believe.
Good.
But basically, I think that will be a huge attraction for families to be able to come here, use the amenities we have. And I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about Ethnic Fest. And this was one of my early drivers for the hotel, is that I'm sure both of you have been to Ethnic Fest many times. It's a great celebration we have here in our community. But one of the most disheartening things for me is at 5 p.m. And it's all gone.
Right.
Everything is gone. The city, other than maybe the churches at that point,
Right.
it really just shuts down. And so many times before the hotel was even envisioned was thinking to myself, how do we keep these people here in our amazing community
Right.
and spending the money here and support our local businesses here? And I'm hoping that the hotel will play a part of that in something like Ethnic Fest or all these other festivities we have in the summertime.
Sure.
Amenities have been an issue, and I believe there's a trade convention for bird watchers coming next year.
There is, yeah.
And that's another exciting thing for our community. If we can do more of that, and I talk to people all the time about how important it is for an economy to bring money from the outside and bring it here. It's one thing to have a manufacturing facility here in town and to pay people and the money generates within the community. But it's another thing to have money come from outside and be distributed within our community.
Right.
That's a very healthy economy. If you look at places like Madison, where they have government, insurance, universities, that economy is so robust, and they have so many great services in that community because outside money flows in and gets recirculated within that community.
Yep.
And tourism it's not the only part of our economy here, but it does have to play a certain role within it, and it's a very healthy role for us.
We would be remiss if we ignored that portion of it.
Absolutely.
And it's like a 2-prong or 3-prong or even a 4-prong approach
Yes.
as to what we need to do in this community. And you're definitely on one of those prongs that is absolutely vital, and you are going to provide such a wonderful space in order for that portion of our renaissance to occur. But we're moving along on other things too, and I see nothing but good happening in this community. But it takes one person to put all of their faith into one project, and there's always the chance that it is going to succeed and succeed well, which is going to spur other people on. And you do that in all these different sectors, and all of a sudden you've got a community that there's no limit to what it's capable of doing.
Well, think about this. I was able to find 15 of those people.
You're looking for more?
Not for this project. We'll see what the next
Ah,
project
okay.
holds.
All right.
But 15. We had 15
That's
people.
cool.
A lot within our community. A couple from outside our community who saw the potential of what we have going on here and wanted to be a part of that. And quite honestly, I could have done more than 15. 15 is a lot on a project like this.
Yeah.
But
That's a lot of voices.
It's a lot of voices, and it's funny, we were talking about the facade outside. We gave our investors, they get to vote on certain things, and some things, like I said, cost more money, but the investors made a choice on aesthetics. Now, it was within reason, but they made a choice for aesthetically pleasing aspects of that room upstairs, and I couldn't point to a definite ROI on it. But I can say, generally speaking, we probably will get more repeat visitors, and to your point, we'll get more conferences, which in itself will probably bring people back to our community.
Yeah.
So I think, there's
It
a
brings
great
them
story
in,
being
it
able
hooks
to-
them,
Sure.
Yeah.
and you see them the following weekend.
Well,
So,
there's stuff like
it's
that
great.
already kind of built in. If you look at sort of the Hamilton wood type
Yes.
museum that does the Waste Goose conference every year. That's an
Yeah.
international draw
Right.
for fonts and wood type and printing press, type work. I mean, that's gonna give that an opportunity to grow, and more people will be able to come and stay.
And there's more guests for you. I mean, And the car show too, because there's a lot of
Yes,
people who
sure.
come for the car show who are from way out of town,
Right.
and they can stay, oh,
Well, I think
This
things like
is
the car
cool.
show, the Cool City Classic, I think, there's a point of, diminishing returns where unless we can house those people, unless we can actually put them up for the evening,
Mhm.
it is counterproductive to make it grow any more than it is.
Right.
But now that we have this, I think now that hopefully we'll add another layer to it and make it more popular, because there's a point where people are like, yeah, I love going, but I really want to stay there. I
Yeah.
don't want to drive to Green Bay to get my hotel room.
Now, that's another thing too, is when the Packer games, the at-home games are going on, you're gonna be getting business from that too.
I mean, we do count on the Packer home games will be sold
Yeah.
out. I mean, if you look at the radius of what is sold out, now granted, that's, not a ton of weekends that it happens,
Still,
but
yeah.
everyone will likely be sold. PGA tournament, the
Oh, yeah.
PGA
Okay.
tournament at Whistling Straits, likely the whole hotel will be rented out for that. Those types of events have this, cascading effect. I've already been talking to folks in Milwaukee about the Democratic convention that's happening next year, and will that impact us as well?
Can't imagine that it wouldn't, yeah.
Well, if nothing else, it'll push other traffic up towards us as rooms aren't available in other
Right.
areas.
Well, I'm personally excited to see what's gonna happen, like, next year, it'd be great to have, well, hopefully you come back sooner, but we'd love to have you back on the show next year to just even talk about sort of like the impact that we're starting to see on this community, because I think the things that you've talked about in terms of the economy and the community that the hotel is gonna enable, and the other activities that are happening, will probably be through and have implemented a lot of the branding committee activities
Yeah.
to talk about the city. And so not only will we be ready to have some additional capacity and capture some additional dollars from people visiting, from elsewhere, but we won't be a best kept secret either.
Right.
That if we do this right, that we'll be able to tell our story and demonstrate and communicate the uniqueness of this particular place in the lakeshore as a great place to go.
And I think what will help that be achieved, our local government played a big part of this, and what really happened was a cooperative approach to being able to get this hotel done. I mean, they really, after the Blue Goose thing, they talked to us about this and were a catalyst for it. And again, I want to make sure I recognize that while we're talking, that the people in our local government, first of all, work very hard. Second of all, they are working extremely hard at trying to get business to develop here. Nobody's sitting back and just saying, well, that's too bad Hamilton left. Everybody's out there saying, what can we do to take this to the next level? And what hopefully I'm getting a reputation for doing, I love that local private partnership and government partnership. How do we work together for mutual benefit?
Mhm.
Things like tax incremental financing make it so much easier for private financing and for private individuals like myself to come in and develop a project like this. I don't know if anybody knows anything about TIFs, but basically it's an incremental tax revenue that comes in for our community. So for the next 100 years as the hotel is here, the community will benefit from this incremental tax rate. At the same time, we can borrow against those future revenues to be able to get a project like this going that otherwise wouldn't go.
Right.
As the lieutenant governor was here, and we were celebrating the community development grant and the Main Street project. That was $250,000 that came in from from a state partnership. Now, that's not something they just give you. We have to show how it impacts a community like ours. What will be the ramifications? And those are the things like our market study would show the basic financial impact that something like this will have on residual businesses. And those are exciting things, and I want people to know that those are things that make private development work within our community and should be supported.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for your kind words on how the local government has been involved and all of the effort that has gone into it, because I don't think that it's hard to convey that, to the residents. It's really hard to convey all the nuts and bolts of everything that has to occur in order for you to achieve what it is you want to achieve. And so thank you very much.
Absolutely. And, none of it's really, great dinner conversation because there's so many nuances within it. But what people should know is that their local government is working very, very hard to get these things done. And of course, you hear it all the time. It's easy to kind of have a scapegoat in government and be able to blame them. But I can just tell you, behind the scenes, there was always someone at the government level trying to help us get to the next level,
Right.
making those phone calls. When you hit those roadblocks with those Murphy's Laws, they were out there trying to help us get to the next level and move the project forward. And whether it was at the state level or the municipal level, those things were happening, and they were fantastic to work with.
Right. Because we only want success for you and other entrepreneurs. That's all we want. We don't want people to fail. And so go the extra mile to ensure that success is actually possible. Now, when do you break ground?
So we're scheduled to break ground right around Labor Day weekend. We're still locking in a date. The gentleman who owns Cobblestone, they're out of the Fox Valley area, so again, local, and that gentleman has been at every single one of the ground opening or the groundbreakings.
Okay.
And his daughter is starting college, so he's moving her down to her dormitory right now. We'd probably be breaking ground right now if he were in town.
Okay.
So he'll be back right around Labor Day weekend after she starts school, and we're going to have him. We wanted to have him here too. They have been fantastic partners to work with. So they're going to be here right around. I don't know if we'll do it Labor Day itself or just like maybe the Tuesday after, with the actual ground hopefully moving by mid to late September, because there's a lot of things that I think the general public doesn't know about all the permitting and the building codes and these the site surveys that have to happen before you can begin actual construction. Matter of fact, I think they're coming here next week to do groundwater level. So like, where's the water table at?
Right.
So we need to know what type of foundation work has to go into it. Those are things that all take time. Permits at the state level, because the economy is so good right now, there's so many people building right now, where permits would normally take 3 to 4 weeks are taking 3 to 4 months. So even when you have everything put together, you have the financing in place, the investors in place, you have the franchise in place, a lot of those things have to happen before you can go submit that permit or request for it. So everything takes time, and a lot of that is new to me, just understanding, and as a private business person, you want to push it along, but the wheels of bureaucracy don't always run fast.
Right. Right. Now, I do have to ask you about this. Now, when you purchased all that property, one of the places that you also purchased, correct me if I'm wrong, please, Molly's.
Yeah.
Can you please do me a favor?
What's that?
Can you turn that into an Irish pub? I'd really appreciate it.
Well, being my last name's Carey and being very Irish, I will absolutely consider that. I think
Yeah.
it was funny because that was a logical purchase for us, and I want to point out that Molly's is still fully operational. It is in there working, and there are no plans to stop that. And as long as he wants to
I
be
thought
there,
they had moved.
no, he's still in there. He's still working. He is an amazing.
He can stay.
Absolutely, he's
he
an
can
amazing
wait.
individual. The thing is, I think he is open to it though. One of the things, and if I could talk generally about this, whether it was the Settingers or it was the Molly Printing, all these people who've had such a legacy here. I mean, every one of those places is multi-generation.
Right.
And I was there with the family as we were tearing down the hardware store, and there were multiple buildings with it. And you would have thought that there was sort of a remorseful aspect of it. They were excited about the fact that it's going to go on to its next use. A dilapidated building was not something that they wanted their legacy to be.
Right.
And the idea that it will be this hotel, it was exciting. So one of the things we did is they had a safe in there that was purchased by the very first Sutter family member who started the hardware store, which didn't start right there, it actually started on Washington Street.
Okay.
But I got all this history from the family, and we saved the safe. And our intent is to have that safe in the lobby, and to have a plaque there telling the story of that family.
So cool.
It preserves the
That's
legacy
neat.
too, right? And the other thing is, we have 55 rooms. Our intent is for basically to have those rooms be uniquely identified to part of the history. So you can imagine it'll be a Susie Q room where, pictures of Susie Q will be up in there.
Did you know this?
I did not.
Okay.
No, this is
Yeah,
This is cool.
Clearly there'll be a metalwork room.
of course.
But we're going to hopefully work with the Historical Society to go and work with the artwork aspect of it. Finding the old photos. Metalwork used to be the largest hail manufacturing factory in the country.
Okay.
It's like a really weird little statistic, but we have pictures of that. Metalware, I don't know if you know it, but Metalware, promoted some historical calendars that came out this year from the Two Rivers Clothing Company, David Van Ginkel down there. Really neat calendars. I absolutely love that preservation of history.
Right.
So you can expect the 55 rooms to have every room will be unique in the artwork that's in it.
Oh my gosh.
And how we identify with our community. So that to me, again, you won't get that at a Marriott. You won't get that at a Hilton. You're going to get that at a Cobblestone because their whole mantra is to be a part of the community, that downtown community. And that is one of the reasons why we partner with them, because they gave us the ability to tie that back to our town, our community.
I am totally stoked about that. I had no idea that you had planned on having it that unique. That is very, very cool.
Yeah, it'll be cool. And again, celebrating those families that built this town, the history that came together, it changes something from being this sort of cookie cutter, drop in, which you see a lot. I mean, don't get me wrong, love Harbor Town. Everything about it is neat for our community, but there's, aesthetically speaking, there's nothing that is historical about it. Mm-hmm. On the flip side, if you look at downtown Manitowoc, downtown Two Rivers, there's some very unique things.
Right.
The Schrader department store in itself is incredibly unique. You see what's going on with Pizza Pit, Pizza Garden in downtown Manitowoc. They're removing the old facades. I personally love those types of going back to our architecture and celebrating it as opposed to covering it up. And there's places for both, don't get me wrong,
Right.
But in a downtown environment like Two Rivers, that celebrating of that architecture of our downtown and celebrating our history has to be a part of it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I know in the store next to us, that's being revamped. Going back down to the hardwood floors, taking out the drop ceiling, and there was a method and a madness for why everyone went to drop ceilings. Tin ceiling.
Yes.
Expose that. It's a gem. It is a jewel, and I think we have an appreciation for what has come before, and now it is so many years later that it's kind of like I can't even believe it still exists. We have to preserve it and really appreciate it. It's back when they did things completely different. It wasn't just utilitarian. They took that extra time to do a little gingerbreading.
Yes.
And made it very, very special and unique. So
I have a similar story to we have a Homestead outlet right down here, which is the Metalware's outlet store, and I bought that a number of years ago to make it into an outlet store. But what was so neat,
was that Richardson?
It was Richardson.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And before that, it was actually way back. It was a pharmacy.
Oh.
But we did the same thing. We took the drop ceilings out, and all of a sudden, tin ceilings and hardwood floors. And one of the neatest things about that place, if you go down the stairs, it was a pharmacy, so they have some unique pharmacy features to it. But as you go down the stairs, everybody who was a delivery driver would sign their name on the stairwell. And we were going back to the pre-war era, the 1920s, and people's names are on the side of that stair.
Really?
And those patinas, as I like to call them in the car industry, you can't recreate that.
It's amazing.
It is. It's an absolutely amazing part of history, and
Wow.
you get to see that you're only a steward in time, right? Yeah, Metalware's the same way. I'm a steward. It's a 100-year-old company, and next year will be 100 years old. And there have been people who've come before me, and God willing, there'll be people after me.
Right.
And whether it be a hotel, a pharmacy, a manufacturing facility, and once you come to the realization, you're just a steward. I mean, you're just a moment in time that you get to be a part of it, and you do the best you can while you're here. That gives you it's humbling. It gives you some perspective of where you fit in on it, and you just hope you don't screw it up.
Cobblestone is built, and it's full, and it's vibrant, and what are some of the other types of projects that
Because you're an
might be on your
entrepreneur,
plan?
you're not going to sit in your hands.
You're not going to be, I'm done, that's it, I've had enough. You're going to be, okay, we're
Sure.
on to the next thing.
Yes, we're always working on something. Right now, Metalware is my focus. We have so many great opportunities, what we're doing, our Nesco brand, our Chard brand. Really, that is my focus right now. But what I'm hoping is that I can help others, that there will be somebody who will, reopen a restaurant downtown or another breakfast place downtown. And I'm hoping that I'll be a resource for somebody. at this point, I'm hoping in my life I'm transitioning into more of a mentor for people. It really isn't about the money anymore. I've been fortunate enough that part I'm okay on. What I really want to do is have legacies and help other people create their own legacies. So I'm hoping that my future entails me helping other people see their dreams. There are a lot of people who want the opportunity to have their own business, that have the next step, and I want to be a part of that.
I think we're all in the same choir
Yeah.
when it comes to that. I think because that's kind of our impetus too for a lot of what we do, and it's important, and I think it's important in the large picture, but it's also, I think, important personally and individually, and you want to see other people succeed.
Absolutely.
And if you have the ability to make that happen for them, it's very rewarding, and it is, you're helping somebody achieve their dream as well.
Absolutely.
And I think that, wow, I am
And
very
quite frankly,
impressed.
you really go through life, and you have these experiences, and you hope it's all for naught. You hope it's not all for naught. You hope that you get to give something back to somebody else. And if you look back at history, the greatest moments in time are usually somebody passing on knowledge, passing on skills to that next generation. I've got 3 kids of my own. I hope that's a part of it. But I make myself very available within the community to meet with people, to mentor people, and to help them make those next steps. And I do a lot of that internally at Metalware or the hotel. And the one thing, my suggestion to everybody is, choose adventure, choose education, choose to challenge yourself. And if you do that, you'll never get old. I promise you.
Right.
You keep your mind nimble and getting out of your comfort zone. The hotel for me was getting out of my comfort zone. It's something I didn't do. 5:30, 6 o'clock would come, and Ross and I would close up the books for the night, and we would transition to the hotel. And it was a completely different way of thinking, and it was challenging your brain. And because of that, the next morning we were sharper going back to our day jobs.
Right.
Because your mind would be challenged in a completely different aspect. And I've shared with you that for me, some of this is my art, is my creativity. And when you get caught in a routine, and we all do it, you get caught in that routine, your brain starts thinking in a linear fashion.
Right.
And so it's like exercising. If you challenge it, your brain has a tendency to be more elastic. You think more creatively in your day-to-day life and what you do. So I would make that suggestion to anybody, choose something that's out of your comfort zone to think about, to educate yourself about, and it'll help you in your day-to-day activities.
Absolutely.
Rick, we're grateful for your perspective.
Well, thank you.
And for your vision, and for all that you're doing for the community. Sincerely, thank you.
Oh, thank you for having me. I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Wow. Awesome.
Thank you.
I am so glad
Right.
that you were able to make it today.
Thank you.
And we'd love to have you back again soon.
I hope it will be.
Okay.
Yes.
Great.
We're going to be like your first customers too. Well, we'll have separate rooms.
Well, I would say I get that top room first, and then
All right.
I'll wrestle Ross over it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. Give us a couple weeks down the road. Okay. Well, separate rooms.
Separate rooms.
Yes.
There we go.
We have spouses. We don't see them very often, but we have them. Anyway, but thank you again. And that's right. We are going to be doing an outro now. Because see, typically at this time we'd say, we'll be right back. You always have that 25% chance that we never come back. So we're getting rid of that, but we will be coming back in an outro.
We're embracing our discomfort.
Pretty much. So you'll be seeing us again. How's that?
That's good.
Okay. All right.
So thanks for joining us today. We had a really great group of guests on. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. Just a couple of announcements before we take off for the day. Please visit the new Explore Two Rivers website for the latest information on upcoming community events. The address is explore2rivers.com, and you can see what's happening all throughout our beautiful city year-round. For more information about Two Rivers Talks itself, you can go to our website, tworiverstalks.com, for additional material, behind-the-scenes tidbits, and some access to TR Talks merchandise, cool and new. And then finally, if you'd like to be a sponsor to help us sustain the show over time, and because as you can imagine, there's a lot of costs involved with producing something like this, you can become a sponsor and receive a shout out on our episodes, plus enjoy exclusive patron-only content and merchandise. You can visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/tworiverstalks. Again, thanks for watching. We can't do the show without your support. We really appreciate it, and we'll see you out on the streets, Two Rivers.